G'day Exiles and welcome back to race 3 of 3, the final race in our Act 4 Tavakai kill runs. The quest just to get to and kill Tavakai as quickly as possible before anyone else, with prizes for the top of each class, but also a grand prize for overall. And I mean, aside from that, there's also the impending and looming threat of ExileCon, the potential of going to ExileCon and qualifying for that, so players having a bit of extra spicy motivation to get in and try real hard. I am ZIGGYD, joined once again by RaizQT. Welcome back, Rise. I'm excited to be back casting another race, mate. How you going today?
Welcome back, Ziggy. I was thinking about that, we're switching over to the cams and I'm like, wait, who's doing the intro? But of course, it is ZiggyD once again. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. We had some really crazy narratives in the last one, a super close race with different approaches, great mix of the different classes. And within those classes, we had different builds that people were using. And it all just seems to be coming together extremely nicely. People are experimenting with a lot of different setups. And I gotta say, I mean, compared to PoE 1, a lot of things are proving to be really effective. It's really cool.
There's a lot more variety here in Path of Exile 2 racing, for sure, I feel like, and every single season has been wildly different, with this time the introduction of Druid, giving a very unpolished but high potential class for people to play with, but not only that, bringing with it Talisman and some extremely powerful skills that are being used by basically everyone in some capacity, whether it's pouncing around, using different war cries, generating rage, or even some other secret texts that maybe we'll get to see today, that I'm looking forward to hopefully exploring. We have some good news and bad news today, Rise. I'll start with the good news. Congratulations to Angormus on getting a new job. He got a new job. Congrats to him. Very exciting. The bad news is that means he can't race today, so no Angormus. But there is a silver lining to this. He was very actively giving out as much warrior info as possible to spice up the competition in his absence. I guess wanting to be able to watch a good race while he's unable to race himself. Employment, I know, right? So in particular, we'll have to keep a close eye on Bin Bin and Shiny Scales, as though two warrior runners who are very keen to take Angormus's place. And who knows who else might pop their head up in in his absence, because there's a very warm but empty chair for someone to go sit down in there, or throne, if you will. As if you don't know Angormus from previous races and you're joining us for the first time, he has won every single warrior of ever, basically. He's unbeatable. But that said, race 1, we did have Luxian win overall on the Merc.
We're starting. 15 seconds. Switch over to the player cast.
Oh, God, get over there. We're late. We're so late.
Introduce our player. Oh, we're even ahead. The timer's
wrong. Who's on
the
screen for us? Who have we got today to kick things off with?
Great question. I literally just refreshed to be on point. We've got Guy That Dies in the top left on a mercenary, Jiluo, the Witch in the top right. We've seen a lot of crazy stuff from the Witch, and I think it's a class that's got a lot of potential for sure. Relicario, a Druid who has a lot of power early, and then obviously with Relicario, he's been like having different approaches, but primarily focusing on shape-shifting, and there's different timings and things like that that we're going to be talking about later. And we've got the fan favorite Shackle Coach on the Mercenary, trying to persevere once again. And as the players get over to Miller, you can see some extra spice coming out from Relicario, as Druid, surprisingly so, with that volcano, is just absolutely obliterating.
It is top tier Miller killer, that skill for sure. Positioning against the wall and just getting as many possible fire overlaps there with that extra channeled volcano. Oh, mate. I'm going to be using that positioning for my future Druid runs there. That's it's just so much faster than all the others. Look at all these people trying so hard, like dodging and maneuvering and everything.
It is really crazy. Crushing it. I did skip over Guy That Dies a little bit, as it's somebody that everybody is familiar with, I would imagine, almost as much as Angormus. But Guy That Dies has been actually practicing a lot for this race. He has some strategies. He disagrees with the approach the whole new society has been having for the Mercenary in the previous races. So I really wonder how this one is going to come out. It is pretty spicy, you know, later on, if it's close, if the strategies are actually coming together nicely. Nobody's tilted. We might drop some quotes, some controversial quotes from Guy That Dies, of course.
Of course, of
Of
course.
course.
Yeah, so there's some heated up rivalries going on in the mercenary playing field for sure. But as you'll note that in the first race we didn't have the league mechanic active. The second race we did. I did get to catch that in post, and it was exciting to see the impacts that had. And once again, you will see players interacting with the temple league mechanic and possibly checking out the temple just to see if there's certain rooms in there a little bit later on. We'll keep an eye on that in Act 2. But Guy That Dies taking down a very smooth Bira there, and we've got Jilu coming up to their Bira as well, which looks very nice with all this
Yeah,
extra damage being thrown down from the minions and whatnot. Yeah, looks
looking
like
really
smooth.
good. And just a rundown of the previous races, we had Luxian win on the Mercenary in the first race. In the second one, we had a incredibly close race between Whole New Society and literally everybody else, resulting in one of the most cinema finishes of all
Yeah,
time as Whole New
can you
Society.
not have amazing races while I'm away, please, in the future? That was
I mean,
that was a thrilling race, mate. It was very
I
good.
feel like like that is really something like when it comes to being a Twitch viewer, really PoE 2 races is where it's at. Not only do you have massive class diversity, skill diversity, but also the finishes are just out of this world. You would think that there would be a pretty big gap in like a almost
Ooh.
3 hour race for some of our competitors. But no, I mean the gap is always super duper close, and you can also see improvements from individual players as well. That being said, I mean we are probably expecting times of about 2 hours, hopefully 15 minutes, under 20 minutes. We've had several players finish with that result, and honestly, if Whole New Society managed to finish his run in the previous week without dying with his YOLO strategy, he would have had a
Yes.
really crazy time. He was way ahead of competition, but his strategy does carry a risk. He is severely underleveled for the later parts of the game, and that final boss, he's just a monster.
Yeah, it was on pace for a 210 or something like that, which is
Yep.
up there with Angormus's best personal best. So I think it was like a 205. So we'll see if we can come close to that again. But man, it was a crazy race for RNG and layouts and everything last time with players just on fine form and so few deaths too. We usually have so many deaths, and there was like one death last week.
People are
So
just getting so good. And
great.
again, a
Yeah,
reminder, this is a fixed seed race. Everybody's got the same layouts. There are still some differences when it comes to mob density and rolls on boxes and things like that, but shrines are the same as Relicario is going to actually die. Speaking of the caster curse, the master of it
okay,
is here.
right.
Good
My
job,
bad.
Ziggy. Wow.
Oh, sorry, Relicario. I'm a big fan of Relicario and his Druid gameplay. Hopefully, we'll get to see him make a nice comeback after that. As you know, maybe we'll have another bloodbath today and lots of deaths. We shall see. A player I'm in particular excited to see once again is Jiluo after their performance last week on the
Yes.
Witch. Just looking so extremely powerful. They did get an insanely good staff last time, so we'll see what they can do if they don't get such a good staff again this time. But I quite like the Bone Storm Contagion gameplay that they're using. So the Witches and Sorks and a few of the other classes even like to use Contagion in the early game here for some nice clear. We're seeing some Vines now, though, which is... was that present last week? I'm not entirely sure. Or is it maybe just something being thrown in the very early game here to smooth things
The
out a little bit?
the vines might have been there, but honestly, we just have so many players that we can track at the start. We're constantly swapping through different perspectives and whatnot. So we were just thinking about showing you guys something new because, yeah, we didn't really pay that much attention to Act 1 of The Witch
Yeah,
because in the
early
past
July, yeah.
races for the casters, for the Witch, for the Sorceress, they just weren't much of a competitor, even in the
Yeah,
highest.
that's right.
In the peak of Essence Drain Contagion, it still wasn't quite enough. Maybe it was up to the players' abilities, and now they've gotten a lot better. Players are experimenting with these seemingly weaker classes, and suddenly these classes, they've been proving to not be so weak as, yeah, they can do well in Act 1, but most importantly, they can survive and manage those 2.5 minute death timers that were just demolishing their results. in the
Lidong
past.
having a pretty nice first Rust King here on the Druid, getting to that Rust King nice and fast. Very good zone reads through there, and a pretty smooth kill overall with some nice extra drops, a bit of an Exalted Orb and such in there for some extra crafting. Super important for getting those early +2 staff or +1 wand and offhand crafts if possible. Guy that dies and Jiluo taking on their Rust King at the same time now as well. Good to see who's faster out of the Mercenary and Rich in the early game here. Oh, it's looking slightly in favor of Jilu on the Witch.
Yeah, really
Contagion clearing out
interesting.
everything.
We do know that Guy That Dies will be having a little bit of a different approach. So in his mind, he disagrees with the approach of Whole New Society when it comes to the mercenary, and he thinks that slightly slower but with more XP is the way to go. We're going to be seeing some of it in Act 1, a lot of it in Act 2, as he's going to attempt to keep up with the XP, maybe a little bit of killing more monsters on the way, but maybe also some dreadnought farming. We're gonna just have to wait and see. There is quite a lot of RNG when it comes to that, as yeah, you just have to adjust, right? If there's more monsters, if you're seeing more blue packs, you're getting more XP, you're gonna have to adjust. And Guy That Dies is just the perfect player to do so, as he's had incredible results in our previous races, and he is here today to show what he's got with hopefully a lot more practice than he has had in the previous races where he wasn't really that able to compete due to some yeah, IRL time restrictions. So
Yeah,
definitely he
despite
needs to send a statement here too. That's another thing, right? Because you
yeah,
do want to
despite guy that
do really well.
yeah, despite him saying he wouldn't be able to do much this season, he has actually been going kind of hard. And I'm hoping to
Yeah,
see some exciting mercenary competition, especially in the later acts there. But yeah, I just want to like note on that decision to be pushed through at a higher levels the first time we've seen that. The story has been thus far that players are trying to find the lowest possible level to do things at and pushing that lower and lower and lower. And we've seen players being like, well, if I get a really good crossbow here, I can go through at level 28. And now we're seeing kind of a pushback on that from Guy That Dies, leading the charge in terms of maybe actually a higher level is a little bit better. And there's some interesting nuance to that we can go into later. But for now, Shackle Coach on the Mercenary taking on the Rust King, placing those Frost Bombs for the bonus damage, as well as the extra explosions, and trying to get down some grenades mixed in with a little bit of shotgun fire as well. We see nice diverse early game from all of the players. Just kind of there's a lot of little gaps to fill across all of the classes, and they'll work in all sorts of things. So you'll see like bow characters using contagion. Oh, Relicario goes extremely close there. Does get a successful log, I believe. Gets a reset on 9 life and just manages to get back into it. But of course, they're going to have to do a little bit of a work back through the zone after that. And Guy That Dies moving on to the Rotten Druid, looking like having a pretty clean run on Druid here as well. He has got to watch for a rock though. He does have a menu open at the same time. Gets plenty of time and gets a nicely timed dodge there to get out of the way. Very good stuff. He's forced away right at the end there. Just needs one extra default attack across screen to pick up that crucial uncut support gem that they need to get that primal armament for the grenade damage. It is a huge difference for them.
it is also, I think, a really good indicator for the PoE2 meta, what is happening in terms of XP. I feel like the similar thing happens to all speedrunning or competitive play. It's like, oh, noobs over level, so we're gonna level less, and then eventually it circles all the way back, and it's like, if you're good, you're gonna end up with the levels that you need. That's something that Tide 23 did. That's something that Ben always does in the Gauntlet, and he really highlighted that you can do that. You can have this like safer approach, and it actually results in a much better time. So I wonder, is that truly the case? I mean, as much as we're saying and hyping up Guy That Dies that he's the one to beat here. Again, Whole New Society has been doing extremely well. And I don't know, can you really get like a 2 hour and
Guy,
10 minute run with level 33? Guy's struggling a
guy with
little
the
bit there.
butterfingers dropping his iron ring as he tries to equip it. Classic, we've all been there. Poor
Yeah,
guy. It does skip up that iron ring. Yeah.
he's just surprised that he does get the iron ring for once. Really nicely done there.
Yes, and only to drop it in his excitement. Shaking
Yep.
hands. Ooh. You love to see it.
Shackle
We're gonna have a
Coach
look at
now to the Ronin Druid.
oh
What kind of
yeah.
damage can he put out? Getting that
Taking a
rage
bit of
up.
default attack damage. Yep, getting rage from the bear form. The rage's default swipe ability does generate rage on hit, so players will try and pre-generate that while bosses are standing up on extra mobs around the boss, or just working it into the boss kill, as it can be competitive damage with their other attacks at this point, even as well as that extra rage, which gives a up to 30% more attack damage, which is competitive with the best supports out there. A lot of
Yeah,
extra
and you
damage.
can already see a difference in approach with guided dice being a lot more comfortable standing still, taking a little bit more damage, but also delivering a little bit more damage. Shackle Coach taking the safer approach. I think I said Shackle Coach twice. I'm not sure. Guided dice with the safer approach or less safe approach. God, that Ziggy, get me out of here.
Yeah. Let me help you out a little
So
bit. Oh, what do we got for Gilua there? A quick reset. Now, when we're viewing the in-game spectator tool like this, rather than someone's stream, you might see like the game kind of just pause and wonder what's happening. Usually, that'll be them actually pausing the game and deciding whether they're going to log out, or maybe they're on a passive skill tree screen or a shop vendor or something like that. So we'll try and give you that context as we can. But we have this technology to peep in on them while they're playing now. We did get that. Was that just the reset for the to clear the mobs out? It might have been. I only half caught it. But
yeah, maybe
I was
so.
going to point out that Giluo is just running. Has just been running like no gear. We've got no boots, no helmet, no jewelry or belt or amulet or anything like that. You can get away with this stuff. They had like a white chest and 7 cold res gloves, though they did just manage to get a nice upgrade there. Some extra life and resistances. They did get a pretty nice early lucky little spell damage one, but that's quickly going to fall off as they need to really seek out those plus gems with like lots of extra spell damage and stuff moving forwards.
It is a big decision that you have to make, and when it comes to Essence Drink Contagion, that's especially visible, right? That sure, you've got a lot of AoE, you've got a lot of clear, but the thing is, you don't really want to be standing around and waiting for the monsters to die, right? So you throw out your spells, you run ahead, and if things drop in the back,
Yeah.
sometimes it's too much of a time sink to go back. A similar thing happens when it comes to the delay from the grenades with the mercenary, but it's a lot less of that. The delay isn't nearly as big, and you don't have to be pulling mobs in the exact same way. Sure, there's a lot of management there, but it is slightly more comfortable as Guy That Dies is using exactly that delay to put out as much damage as possible, pre-stacking and making sure that Asinia will be the first one to fall to
Very
him. What
clean.
kind of loot can he get here? Waiting for a little bit, picks up everything, so pretty happy with that. Jiluo now on the witch once again, fighting his Asinia, and his output is not nearly as explosive as the explosive grenade, but it's pretty good, I gotta say. Very
Yeah.
consistent, and she's
Surprising.
dying rather quickly.
Yeah, so right now we're running Chaos Bolt with Unleash. They typically put Unleash on Contagion, but just gem swapping for single target there, it looks like. And Essence Drain with Swift Affliction and Zenith just for that extra damage while at max mana. You chuck down that Essence Drain first and get that nice big damage. And weaving in a few extra things, they had like Unearth earlier, and they've got a Orb of Storms and a Frost Bomb, just little bits and pieces there. But eventually we should see the Bone Storms, which is the real star of the show for the Witch. Well, as far as single target is concerned, the contagion is insane on Witch for clear speed.
We've got Crate Fieri on the Monk. Not a whole lot of early game gameplay that we've seen from the Monk previously. Some would say it's our weakest class in the current season, but I still think that there's quite a lot of experimentation that you can do with this one. And what kind of power can the Monk display in these early stages? Getting a little bit of setup going there, trying to do damage now. Had to dodge, obviously, those big explosions. HP is a resource, but you don't want it to be too much of that, as we've already seen Relicario had to suffer the consequences of it with the 2.5 minute death timer.
Yo,
Nice
did you
jump
see the
from Crate.
yeah, the backflip from Crate Fiery there on the Monk? I love to see a little bit of Monk action here because it is the probably class we've seen the least of, as they've had some issues with weaknesses across their builds that have made them just not quite as competitive as the other classes. But it's such a cool class to watch race
I
though.
think it's a
So
strong class that just requires a lot of practice, and with the
yep.
limited amount of time that you've got throughout a season, I think it's just difficult to look at a class and be like, you know what, I'm gonna get the best at this one. It can't necessarily win overall, but getting first consistent for the demigods would go pretty hard. As Lee Donglin, and Guy That Dies already now fighting Lachlan. We've seen some unfortunate deaths, a lot of face tanking going on right now for both of our players. And I gotta say, the Druid, it's just keeping up. We did highlight how Guy That Dies will have a slightly more XP focused approach. And if you look at their bars right now, Lee Donglin is slightly
Ooh.
behind in terms of that. But man, Guy That Dies is getting a lot of different weapons. Hopefully, some of
Yeah,
them
there's a few
are going to
crossbows
be
to look
pretty
at
good.
here. A unique to vendor for some gold is never bad. Decides to just go for a quick refresh there. Possibly a mixture of zone read and also well, I'm about to get slammed by this rare. Might as well make a reset here. Doesn't hurt if
Yep.
you just get the checkpoint.
And if you
Sometimes
guys
a
are
quick
thinking
reset.
that Lee Donglin is just AFK in town, no, this is our in-game spectator client that isn't quite capable of looking at the vendors and some of the open inventory stuff just yet. So he is in fact vendoring right now. He's taking a look at probably potentially getting some movement speed boots, potentially getting some new weapons. Players are already focusing on having maybe some shield swap setups for some of the boss fights. It's going to be a pretty big deal too if you want to be just slightly safer. Man, every time I look at Guy That Dies, though, he's messing around with his inventory, and this is a good problem to have. He has too much gear, you know?
That's it. My lobster, too buttery.
Yeah.
He's got a few ones to check over. We'll do some in-game gear checks to spy on how they're going a little bit down the line as they start to secure some of the all-important gear pieces. Great Fiery with that nicely positioned ice strikes on the monk there, and nicely timed dodge is kind of forced to run around the statue, but using that to maintain optimal range on the on Lachlan there, actually looking kind of like chunky and confident, right? Like it was a like really easy fight for them.
Yeah,
Like
he
kind
is
of love to see the
left.
different strategies.
Doing this fight at such a range does leave you a little bit vulnerable to the big slam, the big one-shot slam
Yeah.
that we've taken down, we've seen take down so many players. But no, Crate manages it perfectly, and that was really impressive from the monk. He's going to be doing really well, at least when it comes to Act One. And we have seen him perform really well in the past, but in terms of final finish times, if I were to check, as Ziggy throws down the filler, hit us, Ziggy, hit us with some filler.
Great. Well, Great Fire, if you hadn't noticed, is using both quarterstaff and the spear, going for the combined mobility of the two, especially using the backflip to escape on the spear, but also weaving in the contagion, as you can see, for some clear as well, as you can get those contagions down on the mobs and hit them with any of your other skills just to kind of like spread that around a bit. It's a tactic we've seen on even grenaders and mercenaries in the past, just to smooth out that
Right.
clear in the early game. As you can see, they have pretty good single target, but not super good clear, as they're just training this giant monster train through the zone here, through to the next checkpoint that they need.
Yeah, and Crate did have a 2 hour and 45 minute finish last week, which was a noticeable upgrade from his past results. So I think if he continues to improve, and especially seeing how he looks quite competitive even for Act One, I think we might be seeing a big improvement coming out from the monk, but definitely another player to watch out for in these early stages and how well they can perform is Jiluo on the witch again with a really impressive weapon in the last race, but it was a little bit of a curse. He had a really good two-handed staff for the majority of the race, but as you continue to level up, you get into Act 3, Act 4, not being able to replace a +2 40 spell damage weapon. It did also have a little bit of cast speed, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if it was worth the early benefits, you know? Like, yeah, it's nice to have that early, but the fact that you're using this one weapon for the entirety of the race, I don't think that feels particularly good. We've seen, especially from the mercenaries and the warriors, a big focus and a lot of struggles when it comes to their weapons. And sure, on a caster, it's not nearly as impactful as the majority of your damage doesn't come from your weapon alone, but it does make a pretty big difference. So I wonder if Jiluo will be able to itemize ever so slightly better with a little bit more RNG, and if that's going to have a big impact as the witch can win this race. I mean, it is no joke anymore. Even though this player is ascending, we've seen some really crazy PBs from players that were really competitive. Same for the Druid. I mean, it's just a really competitive race when it comes to the class diversity for sure.
Hot off the presses, we have a new name appearing, someone we have not seen before, I don't believe.
Oh,
Aradia?
Ara-
Aradia?
Ara- Ara-
Aradia on a sorceress who was actually first to get the Lachlan kill. So we're going to try and bring them on stream, I believe, down at
oh,
the bottom
let's
right there.
go.
Yeah, Aradia soon, who's playing on the Sork there. So we'll have a little bit of a peek in on them. I love to see a new name, a new face appearing in the race, and with a nice early performance here on the Sork with wait. Wait, are we still watching the monk? I think we're still in the process of
No, we're watching the
swapping
sorceress
over.
now.
Okay.
Are we?
I'm getting
Hold
I'm
on.
getting very confused. What is going on?
We are definitely seeing the sorceress, Ziggy.
Okay, all right. I swear I saw a quarterstaff and a spear backflip. I don't know what I'm seeing anymore. But
So
now we've got the
too.
Sork on. There we go. And also on another gear report in the background for Guy That Dies in particular, they picked up a grey make helmets, which if you're unfamiliar with that unique, it has like 40 to 50 or 30 to 50 of each stat attribute, strength X, and with -1 attributes per level. So that's a particularly good early drop. Not to mention has 4 sockets. So can slam
Mm.
any extra runes, get in there to polish up resist and things like that. Could be something they just stick with for the rest of the race, just like as an easy answer, unless they find just a nice like armor resist one a little bit later on to swap that in. But they also managed to get a particularly good makeshift crossbow with very high rolls, competing with a sturdy crossbow that's ready to craft with like a top tier lightning roll. So guys is pretty set for gearing as far as moving forwards is concerned, especially if they craft up that other one. Now, oh, we're seeing the new tech from Guy That Dies. Oh, yes, yes. Do you notice there's power charges on the mercenary up in the top left there? That's
Yeah,
different. That's
that's
different.
different.
Let me consult my notes. So, Guy That Dies told me about that they saw Relicario using Rend to get 50% added lightning damage on Bone Storm. They've adapted that strategy over to their mercenary. So they use Wing Blast on prone for stun bosses, and then animation cancel Rend. So you
Oh,
barely even see the Rend, but they use a Rend to get 10 seconds of 50% added lightning damage. It's obviously a huge damage buff, making those grenades even more explosive. And I heard some early talk about this back in week 1. So I'm really glad to see this sort of more nuanced tech start to work its way into gameplay. So Guy That Day is kind of like carving out some new niche advantages here.
my
And I wonder
goodness.
if some of the other mercs have done this. So cool.
Ziggy, the sorceress, she's just that was a
What
lot of
happened?
mobs. It was
Where did their
literally
boss go?
getting a little bit crazy. There were
Oh,
like
okay.
40 monsters on the screen. He was just trying to kill the boss. The ads just kept coming, but Aradia does manage to take it down. And I gotta say, I'm looking at this ladder over here, and I think it's time to start showing Whole New Society potentially over Lee Donglin as the Druid is really interesting, but we talked about how, Guy That Dies will be having this more XP focused
Yeah.
approach to his Act 1, Act 2. He's going to continue to scaling, and Whole New Society is the guy that just goes, goes, goes. Whole New Society is first on the ladder. He is actually the one keeping up on XP. That could be a difference in their approach. Although, yeah, I mean, once again, Guy That Dies is trying to get as much XP as possible here. Or it could just be that he's having a little bit more RNG. We're gonna have to wait and see. He is definitely okay, maybe not definitely, but from the looks of it, I think he is a little bit behind on progression. But you can see that both of the players have a big focus killing quite small packs that I think we would have seen them skip in the past, especially in this zone as we're getting into the uh, close to the final parts of Act 1 where things can get a little bit sketchy. These mobs are dangerous for sure. Many a rips have happened here, and yet Whole New Society staying alive so far with Guy That Dies,
Oh,
trying
look at
to
that
pick up as
Wyvern
much
tech.
XP as possible.
Yeah, even seeing a little bit of Wyvern tech there in the regular gameplay too, but especially excited to see that influence on the bosses. And I'm wondering if Whole New
Right.
Society using the same thing. We do see Pounce and obviously Rage Generation, which has been something that all of them have been using, but I wonder if we'll see that Rend tech for Whole New Society as well, or if this is just an advantage only to Guy That Dies. But we have an updated top 5 standings here for the Executioner kills. Guy That Dies coming in first with Whole New Society swiftly catching up as they move through the zones. Coming in second, Aradia, our new Sork, coming in third overall, and Lidong in fourth, and Crimson, also on a mercenary, coming in fifth. Crimson, you may recall from casting in my absence last week. Thanks, Crimson, for filling in for me last week. Very good casting.
Oh, hell yeah. A lot of improvement from Crimson, so that's great to see. He is definitely
Yeah,
somebody
he's getting better and
who
better.
hasn't really had the results that matched his knowledge, but to see that he's starting to keep up with his mechanical ability, that is definitely really amazing. So we're gonna have to keep an eye out for Crimson casts here as all of our players are progressing, doing a little bit of the league mechanic there for a guy that dies. Already focusing on
Ooh.
trying to get as much currency as possible. Players aren't going to be using that much currency early on, but you do need to start preparing. You want that end game crossbow to be as good as possible for the mercenaries, especially. So that's going to be something very important. Once again, that's a big difference that we had from the first and the second race, as we did not have the league mechanic, unfortunately, enabled for the first one. But with the league mechanic available, we already saw huge improvements in player times as they just had much better gear, and the game overall just went much faster. Whole New
Very
Society,
nice.
however, is keeping up and doing really well in terms of XP. Once again, I believe that he's like half a level ahead. Really? He is half a level ahead. Wait, there's no way. Is he already level 13? Mamma mia,
Let's
Whole
have a
New
look. I'm having a
Society is
little peek
going
in on some of the
crazy.
characters here. Small correction. I think I mentioned by mistake that guy that dies was the one that picked up the Gromec helmet. That was actually Li Dong, who was checking in, playing the druid
Oh,
with the crossbows there as well. Sorry, my bad for that. The gear update from earlier was for Li Dong, the druid, who we see on the druids. The early game has kind of solidified for many of them into crossbow gameplay. With the interesting druid swaps typically being later for things like wyvern boss kills and stuff, with some of them staying with grenades and crossbows as well. Bit of diversity in the druid field there. But I'll check in on a guy that dies and Whole New Society's gear here in just a moment.
but the Whole New Society is in fact level 13 now. So almost, yeah, 60%, almost 70% ahead of Guy That Dies, who is now entering his boss fight. So despite the fact that we thought the Guy That Dies is gonna have this more XP heavy approach, Whole New Society, I wonder, did he make an adjustment? Did he figure out that maybe his strategy was unnecessarily risky? Did he really need to be 10 minutes ahead of his competition? I don't know if he has to risk the race anymore. Maybe he is allowed to go a little bit slower, and as long as he's first overall, it doesn't matter if he's ahead 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 25 minutes. He just needs to be ahead by 1 second as Guy That Dies begins his Count Geonor fight, and this is going to be interesting. He pulls him into the corners to trying to maximize that grenade damage, and as the boss will be phasing over to the second phase, we're going to start noticing some big differences. That poetry phase can cost a lot of time from our players. And last week, I do believe that Guy That Dies barely, it was so close, managed to just not get it as, yeah, Geonor was mid animation. So I wonder what's going to happen this week. Whole New Society, an entire level ahead of Guy That Dies, begins his Geonor fight. And my goodness, guy's damage is noticeably weaker than Whole New Societies. Maybe there's a big break
Yeah,
point, a passive break point there.
Whole New Society, who we are spectating twice, yes, has
Oh,
has a rather good crossbow, I believe, makeshift, and another one lined up. And we'll check in on guys' gear after the fight as well. But it's obviously performing very well for them. Yes, we'll get the cameras fixed out in a little moment. Production's hands also a little bit sweaty today. Guy That Dies is, of course, going into a poetry phase, which is going to cost some time. I don't really expect that Whole New Society will be able to skip that either. It's a bit hard for the mercenaries to do unless they have the most insane
it's instant
crossbow.
for
Yeah,
Whole New
just straight away,
Society.
I'll just didn't even have a chance. Sometimes you can get a little
Damn.
lucky and get a bit more chance to do that, but not quite this time. And certainly no perfect strike warrior kind of stuns or anything like that.
Yeah,
There we go.
Jiluo's
Let's have a
still
little look
doing
here.
their progression right now. Not quite keeping up in terms of progression, but doing still incredibly well on the XP. Still has a little bit of a ways to go, and they're very close to level 14 too. So Jiluo having that early game focus locked in, but once again, I wonder how his single target is going to be looking, as he should be fairly close to the boss. Wow, still has an entire level to go. So maybe a little bit too much XPing with that contagion is just always so tempting. When anytime you see mobs, it's so satisfying to throw down that contagion, the essence drain, chaining through, getting those big pulls going, but might be costing Jiluo some progression as Guided Dies already finishes his GNO, Whole New Society in a second poetry phase? Did he get two poetry
So,
phases back to
so that was
back?
Li Dong. It was Li Dong who we duplicated, and Whole New Society going to their portrait trade. So Li Dong actually ahead and finishing their Geonor
Oh,
first on the Druid there as well. Obviously, can be a little bit confusing, especially with them using the crossbow there. But Whole New Society now going into
okay.
there. They have a really good makeshift crossbow, but it is a makeshift. But they have an insane level 16. What is it? The alloy, the varnished crossbow lined up as well, ready to go for after this. But obviously, the player's not pushing to level 16 for Gene, or rather level 13 instead.
Okay,
And
and this just makes
I think
sense too, right? Whole New Society was just so far ahead in terms of XP that it makes sense that his progression wasn't quite up to par as Guided Dies. Yeah, he's noticeably ahead now as Whole New
there we
Society
go.
only now finishes his fight.
And Jilu now on the Geonor first phase, now we get to start seeing some of that Bone Storm action, and you'll see all the impales going down. I'm not seeing any living lightning tech here at the start, so sometimes the witches or even the sorks, if they're using Bone Storm, will take advantage of those impales with living lightning minions to trigger the impale hits, sometimes linked to Orb of Storms or sometimes linked to Bone Storm itself. I'm not seeing any of that here, interestingly, just deciding to go for raw damage, I guess. But we sometimes also see even just other minions placed in the early game to take advantage of that too. But again, none of that here. Just going for the raw Bone Storm damage. Maybe decided the impales were not worth worrying about here, or possibly missed a gem. We'll have to see. But
Oh
the damage,
man,
nonetheless, still so
we
good, right?
are
Oh
we are
no! No, you're so
oh
close to getting a stun too. But
super close, but
yeah,
it's
no,
not
it's
gonna be enough.
nope.
And now the extra pain too. You see that stun bar going down. Yeah, no stuns for you,
Yeah,
Jilo. Really
it's like it
unfortunate
never
stuff.
happened. Seeing that decay down is the most painful thing. Guy that dies in the Wrathbreaker fight, a very dangerous fight to be sure. The players have some extra tricks for this one, kind of dancing around, having a little bit of trouble getting into a good position there, but managing quite well all of the ads without any issue there. But players will obviously use the peak of that so they're not getting pelted with projectiles from the creatures on the hills, getting some nice damage off there. And there's a few other little
Woo!
tricks you can use in this fight as well. Like if you stand right at the apex of that point there, you can avoid the extra mobs coming up. And you can just leave straight away as well if you're willing to not wait for the gear. But Guy does wait for the gear, gets a few extra kills, and then gets out of there. So a little bit slower, but gets a bit more gear for their efforts. Meanwhile, Li Dong, who was just 33 seconds behind on their Geonor kill, so the Druid being very competitive with the Mercenary here in the early game, and looking just about as strong here on the Wrathbreaker kill. Gets a nice stun down there. Lets them get into a good position. Body blocking with the boss to keep the minions away from them while they throw down those grenades and frost bombs. Have
Only
to avoid those
Society
slams
hits
as they
the
hit pretty
reset
hard.
as he approaches the boss, and we have to mention, Guy was first on Geonor, Lee Donglin was second, Crimson Cast was actually third.
Oh, we
Currently
see
ahead of Whole New
fast there.
Society. We might be able to switch over to
Oh,
Crimson.
yeah. I have no
This
doubt
is
that Whole New Society will be keeping up and giving us some good race action a little bit later down the line. But let's check out how Crimson's going then. Crimson up with the big boys on the Mercenary. You love to
that's
see
great to
it.
see. Yeah.
One of the most knowledgeable racers, but was behind in terms of like the raw skill of racing, but has been practicing like crazy, except for last week when he was busy casting for me. But
I
now getting in
mean,
there and getting amongst it.
getting all of that information, focusing on the small things when you're trying to do as much research as possible, potentially for a cast, it is something that can really benefit your play. You're going to be noticing things that you just weren't previously noticing, and maybe that paired up with just some extra practice this week, the extra motivation in the last 7 days, allowing Crimson to have a really good Act 1 so far. So very, very proud. Great job, Crimson. Let's go.
Yeah, we of
Jilu.
course show whoever's in the lead as much as possible with some extra slots to rotate around to get a bit of diversity and a bit of an idea of how the rest of the field is playing and going, and try and catch as much of the exciting action as we can. But of course, we have many races, and we never know how the race is going to go. If there's going to be 3 mercenaries in a solid tie, then we're going to have 3 mercenaries on to spectate and get that, especially like when it's really close. It can be super exciting. And with the absence of Angormus here, there's just not that extra warrior kind of like working their way into the top slot there, as Angormus kind of brute forcing it. Warrior certainly very competitive against Mercenary, but Mercenary the more popular choice for the competitive players currently. But that said, we are seeing Witches and we are seeing Druids be very competitive with the Mercenary, and it's actually, you cannot say that it's in the bag for Mercenaries. They have statistically had more overall wins, but we've certainly had other upsets and the strong potential of other things occurring, so it was exciting to see how it plays out. Lots of crossbows for a guy that dies to choose between. Throwing like a 40-something IPD crossbow on the ground because they've got plenty of other options.
Yeah,
Kind
and
of
for Lee
spoiled for gear this
Donglin,
time.
he does have the Lee Donglin does have the crossbow approach as well. So still, even though he is a druid, he's doing really well here. I mean, it's especially important to note that, I think, because, well, technically it's supposed to be weaker, right? If you're using the same build, but a class that just has a weaker passive tree for it. The fact that Lee Donglin is able to keep up like this, I wonder if potentially he's going to have some switch up. We've seen some really crazy approaches to single target with the Druid in the past races, and I wonder if maybe that's a secret strategy that he's got in the bag for Act 4. And yeah, depending on the class, obviously we're talking a lot about Mercenary, but there are points at the game where Mercenary slows down. For Jiluo, for the Witch, right? That point is when he's going for the lab. He needs to get his
Yeah.
Ascendancy only to then speed up later. So we are going to be noticing some of those differences for sure. And yeah, when it comes to the Mercenary, he is definitely one of the more consistent classes. But again, you do have a high dependency on your weapon, and it really depends on what kind of approach you're going to go for in terms of XP. As we switch over to Leto as well, on the Sorceress, doing really well so far. Some really cheeky bounces there as he gets across the cavern, and unfortunately will result in a dead end that he's going to visit. But nonetheless, really good progression. And was that just Frostbomb killing everything? So no more Essence Ring Contagion? He's just blasting.
I guess on the Sork you do have plenty of choices for the
Oh no, it's Nova.
the
Okay.
elemental damage. It's never, there you go, nice. Yeah, so for the Sorks we see a lot of diversity in how they build their passive trees and skills, actually, with some of them kind of like going straight up north or northwest for some of the elemental damage or exposure scaling, indeed, and some of them going southwest for like channeling and damage over time nodes, and channeling and spell damage nodes as well, depending on their skill choices. So I think, as far as we can see from Letu, that's a top of skill tree raw damage approach there. Maybe guy that dies
Big boss
on.
fight.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Rend tech goes down.
Man, oh my
Very nice.
god. Okay,
Look
that's
at
a
that
lot of damage.
boosted damage. Yeah, so it's basically like halfway point, you get the stun on that boss, and then bam, 50% added lightning damage for the rest of that fight there. And I was just scoping out Guy's gear as well. And not only that, but Guy's gear is also looking quite good. They did manage to pick up a double socket varnish crossbow with 70% IPD and 7 to 10 fizz. So you get that synergistic increased physical damage scaling there, and +2 to all projectile skills. They've socketed a
Ooh.
lightning rune in there. They've got an extra rune slot ready to go. They got some lightning damage attack speed gloves lined up as well.
Ooh.
Pretty good damage gear from Guy that dies
Spicy.
there, and really taking advantage of it with that added lightning as well. Rend tech popping off. I don't know if we've seen that for the others. If anyone does know about it, it'd be Crimson, but it also seems like a thing that you'd have to really practice quite a bit too. That extra
Yeah.
rotation. And I know that
Oh,
it does
Leru.
also rely on getting extra early gem. That can be a little bit
Leru gets
tricky.
snuck down. Goes for the reset.
Oh, ooh, ooh.
But stays
Clean in
alive.
there nicely as well. I might have to scope out Leto's setup as well, maybe. Let me see if I can get that. I'm curious
Guy that
about their
dies
soul gem package.
with the big progression right now. You can still see that he's trying to get those explosions going as frequently as possible. Even in packs of 3, sometimes he'll throw in an extra grenade if it's off cooldown. Still, you do have to do a lot of cooldown management in these early stages, not just for the boss fights, but also for the clear. So that precision comes into play as Lee Donglin with his boss fight now. Let's see what kind of damage output he's got here. I gotta say, it's not nearly as good. Gets the knockdown and no Rend happening. And yeah, this is the point
Yeah.
where guy that dies would have killed the boss. Lee Donglin
Yep.
not
Right edge.
knowing
Bam.
about the
Done.
strategy.
It's ironic that the Druid doesn't use the Rend tech while the Mercenary does here.
True.
But and that's cutting edge damage boosting tech from Guy That Dies. I've no doubt that like in follow-up races, we'll probably see other Mercenaries and other classes adopt that as well for that damage
Oh,
boost because it's
Crimson!
good.
Oh,
Oh no.
Crimson gets
Oh, he's
knocked down,
devastated.
thinks about the reset, considers it for a second, decides to unpause, and dies immediately. So the wrong call, unfortunately, from Crimson, and you can
Yep.
see the frustration. That's two
Yeah,
and a
you
half
can see
minutes
he's
of pure agony.
devastated from that. After such a good start too, like he was pacing with Guy That Dies and Whole New Society, which is just, that's something he's going to feel real good about. So that one hits a little bit extra hard for him there, and we can definitely see the disappointment on his face as we swap on over to Whole New Society. Production being ruthless once again. Good
Oy,
job.
oy, oy.
We have almost catching a rip from Whole
Case?
New. Oh, it's not out of the woods yet. He's okay. Recovers. Whole New Society currently about a zone behind, although maybe catching up just a little bit over time on Guy That Dies, just kind of like biting at his heels, just gently, just ever so gently. 2.5 minute
Yes, sir.
death penalty is rather brutal and wants to be avoided at all costs because we've started seeing finishes. Well, apart from that 1 week where we had an exact same second finish between two ranges, we're starting to see
Right.
some very close finishes where 2.5 minutes definitely will lose you the win. Checking in on Letu, our
Yes.
sorceress up in the top right, who is I just appreciate that their name is lore friendly. Adura Tailwoman. I like it. Very nice. Oh, they got a nice +2 89 spell damage staff there. Very nice. Anything else coming down from the gear? A bit of cast speed, always good to see on the amulet there. And we are seeing the Ember Fusillade approach there, which some of the what do we got? Rising Tempest, Controlled Destruction, Ice Nova with Unleash and Controlled Destruction, Frost Bomb with Prolonged Duration for that exposure. I'm going to have a look at their passive tree, actually. They are going, ooh, interesting. Straight up to Potent Incantation, those big damage boost at the cost of spell damage nodes. We see a lot of the races pick those up around Geonor, and is got the weapon swap set for Strength going off in the left there. So that's obviously for the Pounce to get enough strength to run that. Yeah, a bit more of a gander here. They're going far left. Slightly different skill tree to what I've seen. Interesting.
I wonder if that approach is going to end up working out. I mean, Sorceress is one of those classes that you can do really well on, but it doesn't have nearly as much competition for the demigods players. I mean, that's kind of the thing, right? Like you're playing a weaker class to give yourself a higher chance of getting a demi, but in a way, because the class is weaker, your gameplay is going to be a lot more volatile. So if there is a big competitor that shows up, now you're like really, really risking everything. That being said, Guy That Dies already up to his Jamanra. We've seen some crazy damage output from all of the classes really on this fight in the last week. And with that knockdown Rend, boom, Jamanra
Damn, what? Oh my
goes
god, that's like
down.
perfect strike crit levels of damage, but in a grenade an instant. Oh my lord. That
That's big.
grenade. Right after that round, you just see that there's a little delay while we wait for the grenade to explode, and then bam, absolute nuclear explosion there. Holy moly. That
Yeah,
is some
on
of the
this fight
highest
it's a
burst
little
damage we've
bit
ever seen.
it's a little bit tricky, right? But because, well, the
Yeah.
boss is almost dead already when he gets the knockdown. But some of these other
Yeah.
bosses, they get stunned at like 80%, 70% HP.
Yeah.
And when you hit him with a big nuke like that, they're just gonna go down immediately. And that's really where this is gonna go so
Yeah.
hard for Guy That
I,
Dies.
I really like I like the talismans in general for the what they're doing to racing and like kind of like giving everyone different tools to play with. Like not just everyone, like everyone's kind of using parts, but people are using all different parts of it. They're using rage generation from the bear, they're using the Rend tech here, they're using like wing blasts and all sorts of things on different characters to fit in with their builds, and that's really cool to see. But I especially like this Rend tech because it is pretty high skill, right? You have to time the
For
stun on the
sure.
boss, know when that's happening, get that stun trigger, use that like animation cancel, and actually have it make sense and take advantage of the damage there. Only society with a straightforward, more conventional, but still very fast Jamin-Ra kill there as they get that first one. Well, not quite the kill, but a first encounter, scare him off a little bit. Shoo, get out of here, Jamin-Ra.
And get out of here, whole new society, as well as we've already got Jiluo starting up his Balbala fight. So that is going to be the prerequisite
Ooh, let's
for
check it
his
out.
ascension. So this is something that pretty much we've only seen the witch do, getting that infernalist, the demon form, providing just so much damage and mobility at the cost of, some risky gameplay. But if the gear is good enough and if the player micromanages things well enough, I think the witch once again can have a really incredible showing here. Lee Dongling beginning his Jamanra fight on the Druid, but he's got those
Man, big
nades.
damage.
Damn! Wait, that was huge, no? Where's
That
this
was a
damage
lot of
coming
damage.
from?
Holy. Yeah, that's some good gear from that I saw earlier. The good crossbows ready for crafting, and they obviously took advantage of that because they had some very high raw damage. Yeah, we're gonna check in on Jilu here.
Ledu?
Wait,
Ledu
what do we
dropping
got?
low, but he's gonna be
Yeah.
okay, maybe. He's fine. Okay.
Nice. That's right. I really like this Unleash Ice Nova with the snap skill, the one that detonates the frozen mobs there. You can bam, going that
Uh-huh.
down. It's looking very powerful here and very smooth for clear too. It's quite
Yeah.
fast and you can really, Unleash in general I think feels really good, and particularly Ice Nova taking advantage of that, looking a bit more impressive than say like Unleash Contagion, which is nice, just kind of like for smoothing it out, but it makes a big difference for these actual hitting skills like that.
Yep,
Jilu
definitely. And
has killed
Jiluo.
Zavala, but I would like to get them on the stream if we can, production, so that we can see their ascendancy as well, because it's the only time we actually get to see anyone ascend, right?
We're seeing Jiluo
So,
right now,
oh
Ziggy.
yeah, yeah,
He's in the
of
bottom
course.
left.
My bad, my bad. They'll be going to that
Yeah.
ascendancy soon. Then we'll be able to see that. Yeah, which is
I'm
on. I quite like seeing Jilua's gameplay, and Contagion just feels so good on the witch because it really, like, on the other classes who have used it at this point and still pushing it like in Act 2, it really drops off really hard. But for the witch, we just see it get better and better and better over time, especially if they manage to get like a high spell damage kind of stuff as well. That
mm,
can really make a big difference from the Bone Storm doing decent damage on the Jamin Ra here, but we just saw some crazy grenades, so it's hard to compare.
it's pretty good, I gotta say. I'm really impressed with all of these Jamanra fights so far. It's definitely a huge improvement, especially since not all of the players, well, improvement
Ooh,
compared to last week, especially considering, oh, that's a tricky fight
guy that
right now for a
dies.
guy that dies. We've
Yeah,
seen a lot
I
of
don't
deaths
know
on
that
this
we'll see
fight.
any Ren tech here. There's probably not really much chance to take advantage of it, and you're more interested in trying to kill those guys at the same time and manage positioning. And the guy that does has enough raw damage to take that down pretty smoothly without any threat from the enrage timer. Of course, if you don't know, if you kill one of those bosses earlier than the other one enrages, and very soon after things start to get very dangerous for you. And we have seen players die to that. But killing them at the same time like that, trying to get them on top of each other, which with the grenades is not too bad to do. Just timing's a little bit tricky. But Letu taking on quite the abyss here and does get taken down. Oh, I
Oh.
was about to commend how the Ice Nova was performing in the abyss, but that's a problem with Unleash, right? Like you get pressured, a constant stream of enemies like an abyss, and you don't have any Unleash seals charged up, and you start to get overwhelmed. That's exactly what we saw from Letu there as they go down in the abyss, and we'll be swapping them out for someone else here in just a second.
That is so sad, but at the same time, I mean, I was just about to say how Leto was actually second on the ladder, just
Yeah.
behind Guy That Dies, so doing really well in terms of XP, and he was already really close to level 20, which is the level that Guy That
Oh
Dies is
no.
at now. So
Oh no, production. Oh. We peek in on Bin Bin, who is the leading warrior currently, and this is Bin Bin's chance to take a warrior victory from Angomas as he is off this week. But we do check in on Bin Bin right at the exact moment they just died and started a death penalty at two and a
Huge
half
damage.
minutes. Oh
Guided
no.
dice.
Ooh, ooh.
Okay.
Can Rend texture
Where's the
Kabbalah?
damage?
Just going for the straight
Oh,
up kill. It gets a we've seen a few uniques, I think, from color dies. Get a
Juluo
extra
beginning
mace to
his
start off
lab.
there.
So last week, Crimson was assuming that the lab takes between 6 to 8 minutes, and Juluo actually managed to
Yeah,
do it in around 5. So I
crazy.
wonder if this is also going to be as good as it was previously, or if he's going to be going a little bit slower. Have to wait and see. He obviously does have a timed event here. He can speed it up by killing the rare monsters, which is why he's using the Bone Storm, an ability that's meant for single target, and even in this AoE situation, it will prove to be super duper effective. A much faster zone to get through now. He
Mm,
only has to kill those little guardians defending those portals. So that's going to be nice. He's dropping down the essence drains and walking away. So he's done this many times. He knows exactly how much HP those mobs have. He knows that he doesn't have to cast anything extra. Just the essence drain is going to be enough. And a super smooth clear from Jiluo. Really impressive
yeah.
stuff to see such mastery at running his Ascendancy. Really
Yeah, the
cool.
confidence to know those portals are going to crumble as well, that you've like done enough damage to the portal that you can move on without sitting there and overkilling it. That takes a lot of practice as well. So good to see. Obviously, Jilu is a bit at the mercy of whatever rooms kind of become available, but you know, you typically have 2 to 3 choices that you can choose from in terms of paths, so you can quickly take those what you think is going to be the most time efficient path. You don't have to worry too much in this first ascendancy about things like curses. There might be just a couple ones they need to avoid. But and you know, they're also not too worried about the health, as they're going to avoid the majority of damage and even just take some damage from traps and things like that just to get through quickly, knowing that you know they can kill that boss, that final boss, without really taking any damage at the end too.
And he
But
doesn't go for the water either. He doesn't care about
yeah, no,
any of
just
that stuff.
skipping all of that. Just got to get through as fast as possible. Of course, if you do push this a little bit too hard and something goes wrong, then, well, it can be very disastrous, because having to restart an entire Ascendancy trial is a different story to having to redo a zone when you die. You've got that 2.5 minute death penalty, but if you die, of course, but you got to rerun that whole thing. So you maybe just being a little bit extra careful. But it's cool to see, and I wonder if in the future we might get to see more classes ascending, especially as races get longer. Because as races get longer, we there's more time for that ascendancy choice to pay off, right? Like
Yeah,
that
for sure.
6 minute cost can give you more advantage. It's currently the only time that's really competitive is on the Infernalist, because of that crazy demon form speed and damage that it gives you. Channeling and getting that Bone Storm ready for the rare kill.
He's
Very
having pretty good
nice.
rooms. I mean, as much as this is a time defended event, it basically boils down to finding the rare mob and killing 2 of them, which again decreases the amount of time that he has to spend in this room. And with just 6 seconds left, he's going to take down the rare mob. And I believe he's up to the final room. Or is it one more? It's one more, I
Yeah, got a
think. So
little bit
still
more
a
to
pretty
go
far
there.
clear.
The interesting thing is about getting all those like rare kill rooms is that you're going to be getting a lot more XP than you would have planned for here. So you're gonna have to kind of adapt your strategy
Right.
on the fly to be like, oh, I'm actually at my XP goal or above at this point, so I'm going to push through a little faster through some of the
More?
later zones there.
I thought he was ready at the end, but no, he still has more to go. It feels like he has been spending quite a lot of time going through this. But yeah, the XP is a pretty big factor. He was already doing really well on the XP, and now this is going to allow him to potentially skip some additional mobs in the latter parts and utilize that super powerful mommy dash later on. Finds the rare mob, takes it down. Got the dice progressing through his shrine. Whole new society already taking down the big crybaby. Didn't quite
Yep,
catch how
very
much
fast kill
damage he
there.
was having, but seems to be ahead of Guided Dice, who already is
Yeah.
going to have that XP focused approach, though. So it is something to keep in mind. He wants to hit level 29 for the Jamanra fight so he can keep up with XPing all the way to 33 in Act 3. So once again, he's going for that big clear. He's looking for as many things from this zone as possible. We'll find the checkpoint. What
Yep.
kind of ring is he choosing? Goes for the lightning with the 2 rune drops. That's just going to be so impactful in the long term as, yeah, itemization is important in Act 1, but in Act 2, this is where you're going to be getting the majority of your resistances. This is where you're going to be doing the majority of your killing, really, when going through the campaign. As once again, depending on the approach, in Act 3, you're killing a lot less, and in Act 4, really, you're
There's
only
that
killing
Rend tech.
bosses.
You don't even see the Rend, right? Like it's just instant. And
The
then
damage is
that big
big.
damage boost.
Whee!
Azarian is gone, deleted. So a little bit of an advantage to guy that dies in the boss fight. The whole new society taking a trip on a rock there and gets slammed by a couple of shield guys, but has lots of health, is looking very stable, and gets back up without any incident or just a little bit of drama to get your heart racing there. Whole new society taking over from Guy That Dies. And like you said, this is where we'll start to see the strategies potentially diverge between the two of them, with Whole New Society going for the strategy we've seen so far of trying to go through at a bit of a lower level. But like you said, Guy That Dies pushing for a higher level now, as they believe that that is the play. And all important. You mentioned getting 29 for Jam and Run. That's particularly important because the way the XP formula works in Path of Exile 2, which is slightly different from PoE 1, is that the early few zones will start to get an XP penalty from being too underleveled if you go through with the conventional strategies. Whereas the XP penalty won't be a factor for Guy That Dies with getting that precise level through Jam and Ra, just for that bit of extra XP to try and push to that 33 there a bit more efficiently through those early zones there. So XP, where you get it, when you get it, and adapting to changes like strong boxes and extra juicy abysses and things like that. That's all part of the very important skill that we see here, optimizing between the top players.
Lee Dong-lin, I don't think he went for the lightning ring, so interesting. Wonder what kind of items he's looking at right now, because yeah, we pretty much always see people go for the lightning, so I wonder if he's just been dropping a bunch of rings and he's been really lucky in that regard, or what happened there. He's definitely thought about his choice, so it wasn't a matter of misclicking or anything like that. Jiluo, now with the mommy form, let's see, he's got a nice league mechanic there that he's going to be opening, and he's doing quite a lot more killing than I thought he would be at this stage, focusing on sometimes even singular mobs. I wonder if he's still messing around with his inventory, getting used to his new setup here, goes for the extra shrine that's going to guarantee him an amulet, which can be really impactful in these early stages of the game for sure. And yeah, you can see him dropping items, IDing things. Once again, we can't really see his inventory, but I think just judging from the gameplay, he's messing around with his inventory quite a lot at the moment, which
I
if you
can.
do it
I can see his
optimally, it's going to
inventory.
be nice.
It doesn't have a plus skills staff, unfortunately, which was a huge source of damage last week for Gilaware. But obviously, Infernalist, the demon form, gives a nice damage boost. A little bit extra high skill cap to manage, but yeah, it got a nice spell damage staff, bit of cast speed, but no added plus levels or anything like that. And so looking at the inventory, no even ones or one-handers or anything to fall back on, which is usually the strategy when players are trying to get like +2 to reach certain level breakpoints, especially for the elemental approaches. Not the case here, but for sorceresses and things like that, they're usually trying to get +2 so that their curses and frostbomb and things can actually affect the bosses they're fighting. Not actually a concern for the Infernals though, so one slight advantage they have there. Of course, we do see them using frostbomb early on, but less important as that focus becomes more on Essence Drain Contagion and Bone Storm, which is all that physical damage. But you still want that damage from the +2 though, and we just don't have anything like that right now.
Huge damage
A little
from
bit
Lee
rough.
Dong-lin on the Azarian fight. Really impressive. Despite not using the Rend strategy, I believe his kill was really close, or maybe even potentially slightly faster than Guy That Dies, who has been developing, however, a really significant lead between himself and Whole New Society, and also all of the other players. About 2.5 minutes uh, is how much of a lead Guy That Dies is having right now. So really great stuff from him. We thought that maybe he's gonna have a slower act two, but he's just a good enough player to be able to keep up with XP, stay on top of the ladder, and then on top of it, just be first in progression and with a lot of room to spare, and even if in case he dies, 2.5 minutes of sitting around, it's still going to allow him to be rank one at this stage. So really great performance so far from Guy That Dies. Will his RNG keep up? Will his gameplay keep up? We don't really know. Again, when we get to Act 3 and we get to Act 4 especially, things get really spicy. But Act 2, if you're a really good player, this is where you can really maximize your skill expression and just really save yourself a lot of time as Jiluo
It
goes for the
contagion for
incredibly
your eyes.
satisfying contagion. Oh, he's not even gonna look at it. This guy's a
Yeah, it doesn't even look
sicko.
at it. Ugh.
Ah,
Rude. Yeah, you like to see those juicy contagions on the statues there, but Chilu just too cool to look at explosions effectively there. Continues on taking advantage of that very fast dash from the demon form. This is the most confusing part of the race to track, so if you're having a hard time keeping up with who's in first, I don't blame you. This Act 2 goes in different directions and players will take different approaches. We've got things like if you do Mastodon Badlands first, it pushes the level of Keth up, which increases the level of the gem drop from Kabbalah. So some people will
mm-hmm.
do that because they need like a level 7 gem or something. So and some players will actually like intentionally keep the Titan boss at a lower level. For example, bow rangers, which really struggle with that boss, will do it at a lower level so that they can kill it in one lightning rod rotation. Whereas other players like pushing that level up. So there's a lot of kind of changes in how people approach the strategies for this one here. But we do know that Guy That Dies was let me just Guy was the first to get the 2 MacGuffins, the quest item MacGuffins, with Whole New Society being 2.5 minutes behind Guy That Dies, and Li Dong being another minute behind them. So we have a nice little kind of like 2-minute gap there between some of the races. Guy That Dies finding so many uniques in this run, but does get
Yeah.
the first Titan kill there. What is that?
He's-
Sands of Silk. Taking a guy even taking a little bit of an extra second to look at it there. We'll have to have a
yeah,
look at that one and see
he's
see
waiting
what
for
that
the
one is.
animation. Some cooldown recovery on there, potentially useful for the grenades, depending on what kind of chest piece he's using. He's gonna choose to keep it in his inventory. I can't quite tell if that's an int requirement that he's not meeting or if it's some other factor. Meanwhile, Jiluo with the Zerian fight, the boss is already halfway before even finishing his animation, and yeah, you can see that the output of that Bone Storm, it is just so satisfying. Great stuff from Jiluo. Definitely worth it, the extra time that he spent getting his Ascendancy, as now, sure, his HP is going down a little bit, but he still has 150 shield, which will hopefully provide him with sufficient survivability. And yeah, the boss fights, they just become so much easier as long as you can get past mobs, as long as you can get the extra speed from the dash. Man, this Infernalist is just looking so satisfying as Li Donglin will be approaching his Titan soon, having a little bit of lag on our end there, but I
Couple
believe he's
notes
pretty
here.
close.
The Sand
Yeah.
of Silk that Guy That Dies picked up is the Grant's Blink skill with cooldown recovery. I don't know if we'll see that get played. It's something that they could use at level
Oh,
26 when they get there, but that would be like a whole strategy that you wouldn't practice, right? Like, there's no chance that Guy That Dies practiced any sort of like blink-based gameplay or anything like that. And I don't like.
uh,
Don't you need spirit for that? I don't even know how that works. So seems kind of unusable. Cooldown recovery though is pretty good for grenades. So I don't know if that gets used just for like a DPS boost on grenades. That could be rather interesting to see if that gets used. It's still in the inventory, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But that one is definitely a wild card and one of those items that's like, oh wow, I've not practiced for how to take advantage of that. Even like boosting the cooldowns, even though it is more damage, you haven't practiced that cooldown timing rotation for grenades, right? Like it's going to be difficult to actually take full advantage of that. And
well,
it's not as if guys struggling for damage.
I have been hearing some players have been practicing with Blink, not specifically with the unique item, but there
Oh,
are some tags that might be utilizable. So I
secret
wonder,
text.
I mean, if the right person finds the right item, maybe it might determine things. You know, people always talk about when it comes to racing, speedrunning in general, oh, well, it's just RNG. Well, I mean, so far we've had really consistent winners, but yeah, the people who will practice the most, they will be finding these uniques sometimes in their practice, and yeah, they're going to be the ones that are going to be capable of utilizing them the most. And I think there's probably no better person to find something like that than a Guy That Dies. So I wonder, is this going
Yeah.
to propel him or is this going to curse him with the tabulast effect?
Oh no. You've got to get your one tab your last mention in every race, don't you?
Hell yeah. Oi, oi, Ling Dong Lin getting hit so hard, but manages to stay alive.
That's
Jeez, that was
fine.
like 20 HP.
Not even broke your sweat. Man, that damage is looking so good there. That's a very fast Colossus kill there.
It is super good. I'm really
Damn.
impressed with the
Yeah.
Druid grenades. I kind of thought that he's just gonna be a weaker version of the mercenary, but I gotta say, Lee Donglin definitely a player who's improving every single race. So on top of the fact that Druid seemingly can keep up with the mercenary, I wonder if Lee Donglin as an individual is just going to continue to do so and maybe potentially qualify for the ExileCon races if he just keeps practicing.
Ooh.
Super impressive stuff.
That'd be so cool if we get like a mix of classes at ExileCon. That'd be wild. But I did see someone asking about the Living
True.
Lightning tech, which so I mentioned that in Act One for the Genor kill, and it was rightfully pointed out by someone that you can't actually get that gem until a little bit after there. So of course it didn't have
Yeah.
the Living Lightning tech online for Gun Genor. Might be on that one, but that tech there that I was talking about earlier is linking the Living Lightning support to Bone Storm, or in some cases, some people do it to other things like Orb of Storms, for example. And that is designed to consume the impales that Bone Storm natively sticks in the enemy. And impale, if you don't know, captures a section, a chunk of that very high hit damage that we're seeing on the bosses right now. And then whenever anyone else hits with an attack, it basically rams that impale into them and triggers that extra bonus damage that was captured. So it's basically a bunch of extra damage stacks that can be triggered by something else. But you need to hit it with an attack, or indeed, as most players will take advantage of it here, have a minion hit them with an attack. So the living lightnings are actually little minions, and they go in and they poke the enemy, and that triggers the impale damage. So although living lightning's not really doing much damage itself, the impale triggers is competitive with another damage support. Indeed, we see players favoring that over another damage support on Bone Storm, and it looks cool too. It's an interesting little combo. I like it.
Guy that dies, the first person to enter the Shar. So this is going to be another big zone where mob density will make a huge difference as he's currently getting blocked on a bridge with a big rare mob, a lot of monsters there, huge XP for a guy that dies. So he has to slow down there a little bit, but once again, that XP that he's getting here will potentially allow him to not do any Dreadnought reruns. Manages to find the lightning resistance shrine, so that's going to be permanent lightning resistance that will be really impactful in Act 3. This is pretty much mandatory as Benedictus is still he's still not particularly friendly. Although last week we didn't see any deaths to him just yet. Meanwhile, Lee Donglin,
Last week was an anomaly, right? Like there was
it
just
was
so few. It was like
weird.
one death until the last fight, until Tavakai came up. Oh
Yeah.
no, God, that guy's struggling with the pounce there. Decides to take the long way. Oh no,
Yeah,
that's
you never
rough.
really know.
Did try.
The
Mm.
pouncing doesn't seem super consistent in some of these scenarios. I've seen people get stuck quite a lot. They think they
There's a
can
lot of
jump
different layouts
something
and
and
yeah, jumps you can make sometimes, and in a slightly different angle, not quite. It's takes a lot of practice runs to kind of like nail all those ones down.
for sure. It is pretty fun
That
though.
belt that he just got. Oh,
Oh.
I see. Nothing too interesting. Just
Ah,
checking it out. Giluo, I love to see like the gameplay for the Infernalist, just dropping the contagion, dashing, kind of like timing the movement with the Bone Storm channel and just dropping that to finish off a rare. It looks so satisfying when executed well. And we're just seeing, because I remember like the early seasons where we started seeing Infernalists and it was like, oh man, there's potential here. It's so strong, but they were like struggling to maintain stacks and not die. They were like constantly like really low health, and it was a real struggle for them. But now we're starting to see like just a beautiful symphony being composed here where their movement and skill use and management of the demon form is all coming together. It seems like such a high skill expression play style, and
thing is
makes
too,
for a real joy to watch, right?
like you mentioned previously, if it's effective already, it's only going to continue to get more and more effective as the PoE 2 campaign will be longer and longer, and therefore, I mean, I believe we're going to be extending these races as well, right? So we still probably have like another act to
Makes
go
sense.
that we're going to be adding to things. So I really wonder if in the future, maybe even next league, the Witch will be really far ahead of its competition. As right now, yeah, it's doing well, but I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to keep up here.
Yeah,
We're just going to have to
more
wait and see.
campaign content changes things up. If the push is to get to the final boss of the final act, that's gonna be it's gonna be a different story,
Ooh,
right?
Lee Donglin going for the reset, thought about it there for a second, unpaused, paused again, goes for the reset, and that's going to cost him a little bit of time. The mob's respawning, and he's just gonna try and keep up now, try and get that time back. Goes a different route to make sure that he does as much exploration as possible, as the previous one did not provide him with the things that he was looking for. Oh, nice. Oh, I didn't know you can jump over that. Oh, that's cool.
Guy that dies continuing the trend of getting every unique in the game with an Arian's Cobble, the unique that has every stat in the game on it. Um, it's it's hard to judge a
Hmm.
roll on this, but it's got a perfect life roll and some decent defensive rolls on it. So that unique has like 20 lines of text on it, just tiny bits of every stat, and
Yep.
extremely wide roll ranges ranging from 0 to other numbers. So you can get really bad Arian's Cobble. One day I want to find like the
Oh,
perfect 0
Jiluo.
Arian Cobble, but
Jiluo, huge damage. Really nice Titan fight so far. Well
nice.
done by our Infernalist. And then meanwhile, Gaida dies already in the Dreadnought, a significant lead over Whole New Society. So I think it's time to bring back
Yeah.
the Sorg Goat, Leru, who did have that
Yeah, let's get him in.
unfortunate rip, 2.5 minutes down, but still managing to keep up quite well. So I wonder what. Whoa, where is Whole New Society going? He's good.
That's an interesting bug that's just on our spectator end. I don't think that actually happens for Whole New Society.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like for some reason it's like a slight sync with our spectating. It's like, whoa, they fell off the edge. What a terrible upset in this race. They're okay. They're okay, folks. It's all right. It's just a perspective issue. But yes, we'll get Letu in very shortly, I think. Whole New Society taking down, the potentially the easiest boss here. Torgul, the Defiler. Sounds really epic. Is just a big old punching bag for grenades. But that said, we have seen people die to fire ground. As long as the fight doesn't go too long, you're okay, though. Grenades doing some work
Have we
there.
had somebody die? I don't
Yeah, we've
even.
had people die to Torgul in the early seasons when like the fight dragged on
Oh,
for some of the
yeah.
other classes. Like for like non-warrior, non-mercs. So we've had some Torgul upsets, people dying to like the fire on the ground and stuff. But it's only usually if the fight kind of goes on a bit too long. I think everyone's kind of getting enough damage now
Mm.
that it's not becoming an issue until Mark gets tired of players dumping on him and makes giga buffs that boss. We'll see. I'm sure that's not too far off.
Hmm. Okay, we're switching over to our sorceress now. Loading into the Shard. I
Letu,
wonder, has
oh,
anything
sure.
really changed? Oh, that's a lot of AoE now. Holy. That's
Yeah,
a
look how
big
big those
pop.
unleash ice nova as well. And there's oh man, the snaps. I'm gonna have to have a little bit of look at Letu. If I recall correctly, they were the Ardura Tailwoman name. Let's have a look.
A nice essence
So
there. Is going to go
yeah,
for it.
so Snap now has considered casting and magnified area in it. That's the big difference you're seeing now. Before it was just like an unlinked snap. So now on the frozen enemies, they can drop that gigantic snap for some huge AoE explosion damage to finish off those packs. And still alongside that Unleash, Controlled Destruction, Ice Nova for the big damage. And they're still rocking Amber Fusillade for single target potential. And what else do we have? Some Orb of Storms, Frostbomb, all that good stuff. Curious to have a little bit of a look at their tree and stuff when they finish loading.
When it comes to XP, this is a pretty crucial zone. The Dreadnought, Guided Dice, still in the lead, level 28, potentially 29 now. I think he might have just leveled up. So once again, really important to get that level 29 as he is looking to keep up with XP. Get level 33 and maximize his damage output to make a much safer and faster Act 4. He thinks it's the better strategy for the mercenary. Wonder if it plays out. But judging from the strategy, he was supposed to be behind Whole New Society, and Whole New Society, sure, he's second on the ladder. He's a second mercenary, of course, but noticeably behind. Guy that dies is having an incredible performance this time around. And what kind of damage can he have here? Goes for the stun, goes for the Wyvern form, and for another couple seconds, he's doing noticeably more damage, but will not be able to finish the boss before that little ad phase. So some extra time that he's going to have to spend in phase one. Not something you want to be seeing, but with the sort of lead that he's having here, it's been a little bit one-sided, I gotta say. I mean, we've had some really, really, really close races, but Guy that Dies really showed up today, and he's having a great run. as he finishes phase one, messing around with his inventory a little bit. Another,
Oh
oh,
no!
Leto!
Letu gets dropped by a big pack there from the League Mechanic Encounter. Certainly those packs can be a little bit extra dangerous there. And a bit of an upset as they get stuck in the middle there. Once again, I believe that's their second death. Still keeping up despite that first death, but that second one's certainly going to cost them a lot. And I was just about to say how good their staff was. They have very nice cold damage staff. Gather dies on the second form. We see that Rend tech go down. Big damage time. Boom. Yeah, okay. It's
Okay,
getting
damage.
it. It's getting it. Okay,
I mean,
damage. Okay, damage.
it's still going. It's still going. And
I
now it's
believe this
out.
is the point, that kind of like mid to late act here, that's the kind of mercenary passive skill tree drops off. They're not getting a lot of damage for a while, so it's like all of a sudden they're like, why not Merc's doing much damage? And then they start to pick up
Right.
again after this point. So that always kind of trips me up a little bit. It's like, oh well, it's not as good as it looked before. Potentially sometimes also, if the weapon hasn't upgraded in a while. Might have to check
I
out
mean,
guys' current
lead on
setup.
Lynn's damage is definitely keeping up on the Druid. I don't know if it's a matter of a weapon or what exactly is happening there, but Gotta Dies, yeah. For the Mercenary, you're definitely trying to get that level 31, level 33. That's when you're getting your big weapon upgrades. Potentially, of course, it's still a little bit of a matter of RNG, what you're going to end up with. But yeah, Guided Dice finishes his Jamanra. Juluo still trying to catch back up. I mean, I say catch back up, but it's just a difference in his approach. Once again, he did go for the Ascendancy, so he is going to be having a lot more power here. We're going to try and keep you guys updated as he should technically be going faster than the other individuals. It's just a matter of whether or not he can catch up before the race finishes. Obviously, this is a demi race, so you do want to win in your class, but the extra brownie points for being first overall goes quite hard, especially considering, the upcoming Exile Con qualifiers that we're going to be having next league. Potentially. I think so, at least. As Whole New Society on the Mercenary now beginning his Germanra fights. I wonder how his fight is going to be going here, waiting for that little bit of an animation. Lee Donglin going through the Dreadnought. And in terms of XP, I obviously Guided Dice is ahead, but Whole New Society is only level 28. 28 and a half too, which is a kind of an awkward level here. So I wonder, I mean, this is a pretty big indicator that he is in fact going for the yellow strategy. So I wonder if this is a decision that he made on the fly, if this is something that he was planning in the end. Obviously, he is somebody who has been going for the underlevel strat, but whenever he was doing this, he was always in the lead, right? He was leading the entire race all the way through until Tavakai that would kill him, sometimes multiple times, unfortunately. But now he's behind, and he's behind on XP too. So will he be able to just get through all of these zones, miss out on all of that XP? His damage is looking really good still. And yeah, will he finally be able to survive that Tavakai fight? I
Okay,
do
so
quite
just
wonder.
on the, we'll get production to show the mercenary tree for a moment here. So as you can see, there's a couple of things. Firstly, you've got that little bit of intelligence up in the top right there. That's just for the talisman equips on the weapon swap there. But as you come down the passive tree, as we go down there, you'll see there's this long stretch. Just keep going down, where they have to do all of this pathing before they start to get into the meaty good stuff over here for the grenades. And that is just that Act 2, end of Act 2 section there that they have to work through. Those taxes they have to pay to get to the juicy Act 3 and Act 4 gameplay that they can get. Thanks, production. Good job there. But that's kind of why we see that big drop off for the mercenaries there, is they have to do all of that pathing, but then start to get some really nice stuff like our second grenade activations and bonus damage from Giant Slayer against uniques and things like that, where it becomes all boss killing, all big damage. But they have to pay the toll first. They have to pay the
Hey,
toll.
the taxes. At least in Ray class,
Yeah.
something good comes out of paying taxes. Yeah.
Yeah. So you think they're being appropriately represented?
I believe so. Holy Society does, however, finish his fight. And yeah, I wonder, this is really the beginning of the great race now. Sure, they've been racing all along, but what is Whole New Society going to do here? Can he really catch back up? What kind of approach is he going to choose to go for? Again, I really thought he's taking the safer, the more consistent approach, but no, he's still doing his own thing. And a big part of that also last week was his gem selection, where he had a different than the usual gem setup, going for the faster explosions on his grenades. And he's still doing quite a lot of killing. Do wonder, he does want the level 29. He's going to be suffering a quite large penalty here, unfortunately, due to the fact that he is level 28. Guy that dies, it's a very, very big part of his strategy to get level 29. And you can see, just judging by how they're killing mobs, that yes, Guy that dies has a penalty, but it's like a 20% XP penalty. For Whole New Society, it's like an 80% penalty or something like that. So a really big deal. But if he only wants level 29, then it should still be enough. But will it be enough to
Guy
win
that
the
dies doing a
race? I'm not sure.
bit of preparatory crafting on the crossbows there. Looks like got a decent potential bombard crossbow lined up. Obviously, don't have to get that just
Nice.
yet, but that one's coming up soon. We have production ready to go to show off Gilu's, the Infernalist passive skill tree here. So you can see on this one in particular why the Witch performs so much better on Contagion, just with all that extra chaos damage. And up in the top left there, you've got the weapon swap tree that's used for Void with the added chaos damage, lots of added chaos damage there, and it's the only class that really has access to that. Other classes try to use Contagion, but they cannot use it to the same extent there to take advantage of that. So that weapon swap being a big deal there. But you also just, the tree is much denser as well, so it's a more consistent thing overall for them. And we have also you'll see even the swap happening live there as they swap to the physical damage for the Bone Storm. So they get to take full advantage of physical damage scaling, even with some like armor break on that as well to help out even more so. That's that green section of the tree up there. Thank you, production. Very good stuff. So we get to see that nice, just fully taking advantage of that Bone Storm and the Contagion Essence Drain gameplay. And just with those smooth weapon swaps, taking full advantage of that.
Really
The
nice
technology
stuff.
is here. Good job, production.
Meanwhile,
Lee
Monkey,
Dong
we
on
just
second
missed
phase
it.
coming around. They
Oh, did
were
we just
okay.
miss
We
it?
haven't seen a Death Monkey in a while. That's a big shiny monkey on Whole New Society screen though. Lee Dong getting a very fast Jamin Ra once again. Still looking very good damage for this point in the mercenary career. So Druid scenario,
Druid
Mercaruid.
Scenario.
Druid scenario. Yeah, we'll go Druid scenario.
And yeah, I think
Performing
Lee
very
Donglin
nicely.
is level 28. So I wonder if he's also going for the underleveled strategy. I mean, he's doing more damage. I don't know where this is coming from, but this Druid, I think in terms of single target at least, he is seemingly outperforming the Mercenary as far as the survivability. Obviously, we've got resistances to take into account, but only 476 HP compared to the almost 600. Is that a 599 for Guy that dies? So noticeably less survivability, but hey, as long as your HP is above zero, you're chilling.
That's it. 599 there for Guy That Dies. Still rocking that very nicely rolled Varnish crossbow. Is certainly eager to swap over to a Bombard or one of the other high level crossbows. They did get Guy did get a very high flat physical roll on the Bombard, but then like the Augment Regal just missed completely. So I don't know if they're going to try and craft that even more, like slam some exalts on there and socket it up, or if
Jiluo,
they can try and find another one maybe.
what kind of damage can we see from this Bone Storm? Looking pretty good. A little bit of setup in those early stages. Unfortunate ad phase just about immediately,
Yeah.
but
Oh no, that's extra awkward here for the Infernalist as well.
yeah,
Dropping demon form just to chill out in the bubble for a while. Not exactly what you want.
yeah, really unfortunate indeed. But yeah, I do wonder if the approach is going to work out for the Mercenary or for the Druicenary. Because,
Druid
yeah, I mean, Lee
scenario,
Donglin
yes.
has definitely been doing really well. In the previous race, he obviously won Druid, and he was fourth overall. But when you compare the times, um, the Mercenary was at 2 hours. Actually, the Mercenary Luxian was at 2 hours and 25 minutes and 1 second, which is an improvement of 14 seconds from his previous time last week.
There we
And
go,
Lee
Gila.
Dong-lin was at 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 11 seconds. So only a 1 minute and 10
Oh,
second difference between the Mercenary and the Druid. But that is close to almost a 10-minute difference to the Angormus
it,
Warrior rank 1, which, yeah, many players are speculating that even though Angormus won last week, the Mercenary might just be better. And there's still a lot of strategies that players just keep coming up with when it comes to the Mercenary, keep experimenting with. And they keep, trying to figure out who is the best mercenary. Is it Luxian, who was rank 1 in our first race of this season? Is it Whole New Society, who's been showcasing all of these different strategies? Is it Guy That Dies, who wasn't able to play before, but he did really well, especially in the second season? Mercenaries are just kind of crazy, They're always trying to
Ooh.
cook each other.
Does not get the Rend tech down as the stun just happens on the Chimera there, but Guy's damage looking really good. Not quite able to skip any of the pillar phases though. Maybe a
It was
well-timed
close.
Rend might have got him over the edge for that one, but nonetheless, just a one cycle Cyclusian, the Chimera there for Guy That Dies. Can be a time-consuming fight if you kind of mess it up a bit. Still pretty good. And Jilu's second phase, Jamin Ra was really good too. Like there was basically no
Mm.
mechanics that Jamin Ra got a chance to do. He opened a fire portal, then died. There was no
Oh,
lightning. I didn't see any of the lightning abilities or anything. So that Bone Storm ramp looked real good there in the second phase with no cheeky ad phase like there was in the first one. But Jilu is just keeping up once again, like a repeat of the previous race that we saw last week, but not and doing it off the back of not quite as good gear this time as well, I believe. I'm gonna do a bit of a check in to
yeah.
see if they've managed to do any upgrades.
I think another thing to really highlight from the first and the second race also is that if you look at the Inferno list from the first ladder, they had a 2 hours and 38-minute finish, which seems like a lot of time, right? But they were level 36 compared to some of the level 29 kills, some of the level 31 kills that we've been seeing from other players. But in the second race for Jiluo, he ended up being second, only 14 seconds behind the rank 1 Ungormus, and he was still level 36. So it's kind of crazy to see that Angormus is such a competitive player who can definitely beat out these mercenaries. And Jiluo was 14 seconds behind and 5 levels higher. I I think this witch has a really serious chance of still getting rank 1 overall here, depending on
And
what we're going to be seeing out of Guy That Dies.
And on that note, too, Sajila was really struggling with gear in the early game, but now we'll get production to have a little bit of a look here because they've started getting it together. It's not full puzzle just yet, but you'll see there's 2 gear sets, so it's really hard for them. They have to gear a physical gem level gear set on one hand, and then on the
Hmm.
weapon swap, the chaos one as well. And you really want those both to be as good as possible so that you can scoop through those zones with the contagions and just optimize that damage as much as possible. But the physical one is the most important, and that is looking really good. We have the wand there with double added damage and +1, and also the offhand to the focus there with the +1 as well. So they've managed to get both of those for the physical set, and that is a huge deal to be able to get both of those down. The only thing that's missing is just kind of the offhand for for the contagion set, but they did manage to get a +1 all skills wand on that as
But
well. So Jilu
it's a
looking
big
really good there.
deal. It's a big
Yeah, that is
deal,
a that is
no?
a,
Because
a
he
huge deal
wants
for
level
them.
36. That's a lot of levels. That's a lot of essence draining that you're going to be
And that
doing. And
and that's what makes that contagion setup like really important because that's what's going to give you those levels, right? The Bone Storm will snipe
yeah.
down those rares, but you need that contagion essence drain to be as strong as possible. So ideally, they can pick up a offhand with a bit more damage as well and secure that. But
Ooh,
even now, it's looking really good.
our
Oh,
Mercer Druid, Li Dong
is
Lin,
that a
dead
monkey?
to the
Do we have a
monkey.
monkey? The monkey claims another victim.
Oh
Oh
man,
no, we haven't seen a
that is
monkey
a
kill for a while.
that
Li
is a rare
Dong was
sight.
presenting very nicely on the Druid scenario. A very good run so far. Does go down to the monkey. Quite the upset for them. Going to cause them to drop behind Guy and Whole New Society on the actual mercenaries. We'll
We're
see if
also
we get a chance to
having
see them again in the future, but we'll check in on someone else for now. Shiny Scales.
who is a warrior
Now,
who's
Shiny,
having a really incredible race against Bin Bin right now.
yeah. So
So for the warrior,
if
it's gonna be a close one for sure.
Yeah, if you recall, at the start I mentioned Bin Bin and Shiny Scales were the 2 warriors to keep an eye on as both vying for top warrior spot. And some have said that Bin Bin was the main one to watch, but Bin Bin
Hmm.
we swapped over to right when they died, and Shiny
Right.
Scales seems to be doing very well here as we get them on the stream for the first time, possibly ever. Welcome, Shiny Scales, a new face for some of you, but has been in there grinding away on the warrior gameplay, trying to get things as good as they can. I might get their IGN so we can have a little bit of a snoop in on their gear and tree and see exactly what they're doing. But likely, as we see from the warrior from Angormus paving the way, people are going to follow in Angormus' footsteps naturally. Probably be seeing some shield wall slams. But that shield is a big one. The their name is Nerf Shield Wall, funnily enough. So they've got a political motive here on their character naming. And did get a chance to expose that. But oh man, they have a really nice shield too. 212 armor. Anything approaching 200 is excellent. Jilu with the monkey kill. Hold on just a second. That stun from the Bone Storm. Such a big thing for Bone Storm. Being physical spell damage, it gets that nice stun bonus. And we get to see it stunning things where like the Sorks and stuff. And even the Grenaders not necessarily getting those stuns down, but that physical damage doing some big stuns. Let's
Biggest
see.
shield we've seen ever. And also, there's history
Yeah.
between these two players. Bin Bin had second warrior in the first race, beating out Shiny Scales by like 20 minutes. But in the second race, just last week, Shiny Scales managed to beat Bin Bin with a 2 hours and 33-minute time, 1 full minute ahead of Bin Bin. So these guys, it's going to be a close one between them for sure.
Yeah, there's likely some intense rivalry there, and we do see a very nice run coming down for Shiny Scales. That shield just being absolutely phenomenal. Not only does it have 212 armor, the highest armor we've possibly seen from any warrior shield, especially with Gary Flolo there, especially with Angormus really struggling with shield crafts the last couple of weeks. But not only that, but it's got like 30 something resistances and life as well. Crazy.
Mamma mia. But Ziggy,
It is
it
really beautiful.
begins. The great
Oh, yes.
chase has
Oh, the
begun. The whole new
chase.
society is ahead now. He is not going to be doing nearly as much killing. Level 29 is going to be the maximum that he's going to be reaching. He might look like he's close to 30, but it's not something that is going to be getting, as he is not keeping up with the penalty. And pretty much at this stage, even though you can see him kill quite a lot of mobs trying to stay alive in these waterways, he's pretty much just trying to get through as quickly as possible, only really focusing on bosses. Obviously, you have to take those down to get through progression. And his nemesis, Tavakai, once again, Whole New Society is going to be doing it significantly underleveled. But if he doesn't die,
So much damage.
he's already past Guy That Dies, who is
Yeah.
level 32 and will be going for level 33. So once again, we've highlighted this before, a difference in approach. Which approach will be
Yeah.
better? And I have to quote here
Yes, do the quote, Rise. From Guy That
comment
Dies.
that Guy That Dies made towards Whole New Society. He said, if I see Whole New Society as the first person to enter Drowned City, which is about to happen, or Apex of Filth, I'm celebrating that he's running it down again. Which means that
Damn.
Guy That Dies doesn't believe that Whole New Society can pull off this strategy. And
Yeah.
historically, yeah, Whole New Society has not been able to pull off this strategy.
Damn. The rivalry. Yeah, basically saying like, you idiot. Look at you going first. You fool, I'm gonna draft right behind you, right? Yes, I'm gonna be taking advantage of that slipstream. Damn.
Yeah, I mean,
And that
it's
is
interesting.
exactly what we're seeing. Yeah, so
I
now
gotta
we
say,
get to see, right, is can Guy kind of like, put his money where his mouth is on that one, and can he do the big chase down, catch up, and overtake as we move through Act 3 and 4? Wild. I love it. I love
yeah,
the
I
storyline.
really wonder. I really wonder because honestly, looking at how quickly Whole New Society was able to catch up, and Guided Die still has a little bit of XP to go. Because yeah, he needs level 33, so he's about half level behind. But obviously, yeah, by the time he finishes Waterways, they're killing about the same amount of mobs here. He should be able to have 33. So Whole New Society, he really doesn't have a big enough lead, I think, just yet to
Well,
be
so let's
able
talk
to
about the
do
stats,
that.
right? The whole new society beat Guy to open the waterways by 2 minutes and 4 seconds, and that's after being behind to kill Jarman Ra by 2 minutes and 50 seconds. That means roughly a 5-minute swap in their positions. Like Whole New Society advanced
That's
5 minutes in
crazy.
progression during this time while Guy That Dies is focusing on XP. So, that's a big rundown that he has to do. And if that's still extending a little bit, we'll see. Like if that, as we move forwards and Guy That Dies finishes off their XP quest, then who knows? That could be 6 minutes or something that he has to run down in Act 4. Oof, a lot can go wrong with that, but
Yep.
Guy That Dies has a theory. He has a theory. We'll see if it's
And the
proven
thing is
right.
too that, we have a lot of bosses to get through. And obviously
Portal
the
skip.
reason why Guy That Dies is doing this is because he wants to be stronger for those boss fights. And that is already going to be applying very, very soon as, like, once again, he's really close to 33. Jiluo, that's another player who's trying to chase others down. He is keeping up, but will it be enough? Shiny Scales on the Warrior. Warrior really powerful. And once again, he does have an incredible shield. The best shield that we've seen by far. His shield is twice as good as we've seen from Angormus finish the race with. So I really wonder, can he pull it off here and potentially have this super safe? Because Warrior is really so much safer even than Mercenary. So I wonder if maybe, if Whole New Society makes a mistake, Guy That Dies makes a mistake, he's less likely to do so, but potentially it might still happen. Can Shiny Scales really get in there and also pull off a victory on this Warrior? Drowned City has been entered, and despite the funky name, this is something that Whole New Society always does. He's got a crazy name, but it is in fact here. So Drowned City
Yeah,
has been entered. Guy That
this
Dies.
is the exact
Is he
moment he knows.
celebrating?
He's like, that's Whole New Society's name every time is the
Yep.
No portal skip for Guy That Dies. Boo. Boo.
Dude,
No, as it's become the RaizQT skip for some reason. You stole
do
my portal
not.
skip. The whole discussion last week, I was raging out while watching
Oh,
that.
yeah?
That's my portal skip. I was the
That
one
is your
excited about
portal
that. That's
skip,
not your
yeah.
thing. That's my thing.
That's what I said. I was on your side,
Crimson
Ziggy. I
trolling
don't
us
know.
both, apparently. Very good. The
Very
guy that dies
good.
not saving a fraction of a second there. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Whole New Society did. That's gonna be. I'm cheering for Whole New Society now because they did the portal skip. So
I want Guy That Dies to be the villain so much. It's crazy. But I gotta say, I mean, just looking at this right now, I just don't think Whole New Society has had developed a big enough lead. Being 2 minutes behind Guy That Dies, we were kind of. Crimson sent us a little bit of a breakdown of how this is potentially going to be looking. And he said that Guy That Dies should be about 60 seconds behind entering Act 2 and another 2 to potentially even 3 minutes to Act 3. But instead, Guy That
Okay.
Dies was actually 3 minutes ahead. Whole New Society entering Act 3. So that is a 6 minute difference paired up with the
Mm.
additional, what was it, 4, almost 5 extra minutes. So in
Yeah.
a
I mean, the
in
gap
a
is there
well
now.
executed run, Whole New Society should be 10 minutes ahead right now. He is not,
Mm.
and it is not
That
even
is.
close.
Yeah, there might be like 3 minutes less than what he wanted to be ahead now. So we'll
Yep.
see. We'll see how that one plays out yet. Still very difficult to call at this time. And I love to see a divergence in strategies here because that does make things very exciting as we don't know exactly who's winning. But we do know from the Warriors, though, that Bin Bin has overtaken Shiny Scales. So the Warrior race is still very heated up between Shiny Scales and Bin Bin. Bin Bin, of course, had that death earlier, and Shiny Scales has an insane shield. I'd love to get Bin Bin on then if they've just overtaken Shiny Scales. So we can have a look at them, and also I'll get their IGN so I can have a look at their gear as well and compare. But Whole New Society taking down the Queen of Filth now. Not pulling her into the corner or anything, as the Grenadiers sometimes do, but instead just face taking those slams like it's nothing. Oh, does take a bit of damage
He
there.
That was kind of close. She was going for the double
Yeah.
swing. He gets hit really hard. If she
Yeah.
finishes that
Got a bit of
attack,
a.
that could have been risky.
I think got the stun off like right at that exact moment. Kind of saved him. A little
Yeah.
dodgy. Certainly a death from Whole New Society would shake things up dramatically. And we did see a lot of mercenary deaths to Tavakai last one. So whatever race happens up until then. It's like those BS game shows where it's like, all right, everything ends 1 point per round, but then at the end we've got a 100-point round. That's Tavakai fight. So we'll see.
True.
It's like, wait, what do you mean? None of the other rounds mattered. It can all
Pretty
come down to
much.
Tavakai potentially. Potentially.
True. But it's really cool because it's not a bullshit fight, right? Like it is something where
No, it's a. Oh yeah, it's so good. It's definitely
if you're
improvement
just
from
so
Doriani,
good,
which has
it's
gotten pretty easy. Yeah.
true. Yeah, exactly. Doriani was kind of simple. Tavakai is no joke. And also, we've seen
Oh
players
yeah.
become a lot better at Benedictus too, and Torvin, another
Yeah.
boss that has been super tricky
Those
for
are both
some of
really
our
hard.
players. And those none of those bosses are really a matter of RNG. I mean, Benedictus is still kind of bullshit, but you know, if you practiced enough, you
Oh,
can
Gilo,
definitely do
no!
things.
Eats the
Oh,
lasers. Oh no, we haven't seen a death here for a little while. Gilo has been doing so well on the Infernalist, has I believe their first death there.
that's everything.
That's particularly heartbreaking for me because I'm really rooting for him to put some real pressure on these mercenaries. But
Same.
that is going to be a tough one for them. But we did see, I think, last time that the witch Gilo did much better in Act 4 and against Tavakai than some of the mercenaries that were running it a bit close to the line. So hopefully this upset here now is made up for in Act 4 as things get a bit spicier. But that is definitely a rough one for them. Bit of a misstep. Dying to the lasers. Oof. Gotta
Yeah,
hurt. Hopefully he
that's
can come
it,
back from that
especially
noted.
right. The lasers is kind of a
Candlemaker.
DPS phase for everybody. They
Yeah.
face tank it just so they can do more damage. So dying to an attack that's so predictable, it might like
Oh,
to
what? Is it transition to Letu doing like 3/4 of the boss bar in a single
jeez.
channel there? Excuse me? That is like better than Bone Storm damage that we just saw on the Sork, which is Bone Storm is said to be the better skill between that and the fire one. Forgetting the name of again for a second. I need to have a peek in on them here in just a second.
That's
We'll come
crazy.
back to Bin Bin and the Warriors in a moment. Ember Fusla, that's the one. Thank you. Let me catch their name. Letu. Here you go. That's right. You're Adura Tail Woman. I need to have a gander at this one. What is going on here?
That is so much. And again, Leru did win Sorceress ninth overall, 2 hours and 36 minutes in the last week race. Man, I gotta this sorceress. It's seemingly catching up. Guy that dies, taking down his boss, having to wait for that pesky dodging attack. I don't think that he's using the faster explosions, so he should be doing more damage here as long as the boss is not
Yeah,
moving.
I did peep that. He actually has a he's not using the fuse duration support this time around like he was last
Mm-hmm.
week, which from asking about it afterwards, it sounded like that was just vibes. He was just vibe building it. He was like, I was just trying it out, see how it feels. Rightly
Oh,
felt it felt
really?
good. Yeah, the diffuse duration support just felt good. I mean, yeah, if you played grenades and used it, it feels good, but definitely a strange choice when usually you want as much damage as possible. And this time, indeed, they're going for that support gem that gives you 20% more damage at the cost of movement speed while throwing the grenades, which is not too bad because you are often throwing a grenade and dodge rolling right after anyway. So it's
Well,
you
that's
can kind
guy
of
that
reposition. It still
dies.
costs you, but yeah, that's guy that dies.
Whole New Society
Using that
is
there.
using short fuse apparently, so
Oh,
he's
Whole New
sticking to his
Society is using
guns.
short fuse.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, my mistake. Yeah, I was checking guy that dies. So he's using the damage,
Leru died.
the conventional damage approach. Holy Society's still sticking with the short fuse. What?
Leru's dead
Crazy. No, no,
again.
I was
I
just
mean, we
peeping their
were
gear.
we were talking about how the
Oh no.
sorceress kind of struggles with survivability. Same for the witch, really.
Mm.
You have to itemize and play super well. And yeah, it's just
They're
not
having
enough, unfortunately.
they're having an issue with their gear. So they got a very nice staff, but they're having a problem where they don't have enough dexterity for their boots to be equipped. That's slightly awkward. That's
For
slightly
Leru.
awkward.
Oh no. I wonder
Yeah,
if that would have
yeah,
made a
Letty.
difference.
Yeah, I mean, 15% move
Uh,
speed might have got you out of the way of whatever just happened. So that's
yeah.
this has been a lot of deaths this race. Damn. We have a
Meanwhile,
simultaneous fire path for a guy that does it. Holy, that's a big deal. That's
that's
a
a big
catch up
deal.
already, right?
That's
That's
a big deal
crazy. I
for a guy
thought Whole
that
New Society
dies.
would. Yeah, I thought Whole New Society would still have the lead here. Well, let's have a side by side damage comparison. It's almost exact. Guy that dies looks like 5 seconds behind.
Yeah, this will really highlight the difference in the approach, the difference in the strategy. As, yeah, once again, Guided Dice should be doing significantly more damage. Whole New
Misses
Society
every
misses
grenade. Oh
all of
no.
his grenades.
Just misses even with the short fuse. Just misses everything. That is unfortunate. She's tough. She's a good duelist.
Yep.
Oh man. Meanwhile, Galadize does not miss, and with that extra damage boosted grenades going down, that is starting the fight 5 seconds earlier and ending it.
Oh,
Oh man. Ending. Oh no, got Holy Society going low as well. Holy Society.
oh, he doesn't get it.
Oh no, immunity phase. No. He doesn't get. He was so close. If he hadn't missed one of those like 3 misses of grenade cycles, the Viper would be down here. Oh
Nice
no, losing
dodges.
that advantage, losing that speed advantage. Now, a guy that dies just has it, right? He has it. As they say,
Yep.
it's his to lose now.
Is guys race to lose? Absolutely. I mean, this is going to be so hard for Whole New Society. Bin, he's still keeping up. 3 deaths on our Leru Sorceress. Might just put them out. Jiluo is back, still having to get through the waterways. He should still be able to be catching up, but I think Jiluo's had 2 deaths already. Leru's had 3. It just might be too much. But Gaidada is very comfortable in the position that he's in, a familiar spot for him, rank 1. I wonder if he's going to be gaining a lot of confidence from his position on the ranking. He knows exactly where he is. He knows that he's ahead of Whole New Society. He hasn't been checking his friends list or anything like that, but he is the first person to enter a lot of these zones. So yeah, that's gonna be really difficult. Guy that dies, proving to just be too powerful. His layout reads, his perfect precision gameplay. He's just on another level.
We're getting YFK a Druid who is doing a more shapeshift focused approach down in the bottom right. For a bit of variety, they're a little bit behind, but playing a different playstyle, which I'm sure some of you are eager
Holy.
to see. We're actually seeing some wolf form swipes, which I don't believe we've seen in any of the races here. And a mixture of a bit of everything here. We do see the Wyvern, which we know can be extremely powerful. For now, it's just the swipes, which is decently solid, but later on, it can be the oil barrages, which can absolutely one-shot the bosses. And so far, it's cool. It's cool to see though a bit of a mixed approach here. I'm gonna have a bit of a snoop in on their gear, but just while they're doing that though, I wanted to mention on Guy That Dies did manage to get themselves an insane bombard crossbow as well. They've got 68% increased physical damage and 13 to 30 flat physical. It's not
Oh
even
my.
socketed yet, and it's doing all of the damage. Very high bombard. It's even got crit chance and crit damage. Might get to
Oh
see some nice
my.
big crit grenades down there as well, and
That's
that's off the
dirty.
back of some pretty nice added damage on some of the other gear too. So
What about his
some
gloves?
pretty good. The gloves, 1 to 22 lightning damage attacks, which is pretty decent. Yeah, we've seen crazier, but
Okay,
not only that,
noblest levels.
the thing I'm more interested in is the 774 health that they have with six compared to the 640 for Whole New Society means that Whole New
True.
Society is going to have to be really, really on their toes compared to Guy That Dies is going to have a much safer approach here. Got to take a look at that. 2k explosive grenade damage on bombard crossbow is very good right now. So that is a solid average damage on the grenades. And indeed,
Nice
Doriani first phase
damage.
going down very quickly for them. Let me have a look at YFK while we wait for second phase to come on up.
He almost skipped the lasers, not quite though. He's gonna have to wait.
It's a big skip if you can pull that one off. Doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, we really never see it, but I thought that it might
Yeah, I think
actually
I've hit it
happen
like
here.
once or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
this
mean,
was really
he's got
close though.
he's got the damage for it.
Whole New Society beginning his Doriani fight. A lot more dodging, a lot more rolling, waiting for that gas grenade to expand so you can get the big chain off. And yeah, his damage is good, but we have a whole entire act still to go through. I wonder, I mean, at this stage, even if Kaida dies, can he choke here and can Whole New Society catch up? No laser skip for him. Obviously, he's just too severely underpowered. Has to do a little bit of dodging. These lasers might just be difficult. The Bud Laser coming out from Guy That Dies manages to dodge it perfectly, goes around the boss, and he is going to die just like that. Doesn't
Yeah,
even wait for
nice
the
and
loot.
safe.
Guy That Dies is ready for Act
Yeah,
4, and
he's pretty
he's
good. He's
bumping.
pretty happy, I think, on what he's got. Doesn't really need anything except maybe some runes for that crossbow, just to finish it off. If he can manage to secure a rune, an artificer's orb, then he can polish off that bombard crossbow and be in pretty good order. I should check in on his resistance stuff maybe, just to see kind of how the full
Mm.
defensive package looks. But for now, let's focus on Whole New Society going into second phase. Doriani here. He is definitely a bit more vulnerable to potential missteps with the butt laser, but the players are pretty confident on Doriani now. It's been a while since we've seen an upset
Yeah.
on this boss. But there's been some crazy deaths this race, so who knows?
His damage is keeping up.
Decent
He has to
damage.
stay inside, which, yeah, does leave you vulnerable to the Bud Laser. He's actually going to get the stun off,
There's the stun.
which
Yeah, the
is
stun
pretty
kill.
rare.
Easy, nice. Yeah,
Nice.
gets that stun to finish it off. No butt laser to speak of whatsoever. With those two now running through the first little parts of the next and final act, YFK the Druid here with a very interesting playstyle has themselves a very nice primal talisman. Having a little bit of a look at the gear, a very nice pair of gloves as well with some double damage and life, as well as some extra damage on their jewelry. So looking pretty good here. I got a spirit amulet, and very interestingly, they're running a rattling scepter on the offhand swap. You'll notice the
Mm.
the
Oh,
oh
yeah.
no, oh, goes
He's
very
good.
low there, pauses for a second, but decides not to log out. It's like, I can deal with this, and does manage to get out of there safely. Very nice. I'm gonna have a look at their skills because I'm curious, like, what they're doing here. They've obviously got those like skeletons popping up on weapon swap, but why? What is the purpose of this one? I'm wondering.
Man,
They've got their oil
Jiluo.
barrage ready. Ooh.
Jiluo just taking a much different approach. You could see that after that rip, instead of having 120 energy shield, he's got 520 now. So he
Nice.
really recognized
Secured.
that the defenses were what was keeping them vulnerable. And yeah, still massive amounts of damage coming out on single target. And with this energy shield almost matching some of our other players' HP pulls, man, I wonder,
Yeah.
can he
It's
still
crazy,
catch
actually,
back
right?
up?
Like 1,100 total compared to like
Yeah,
700, 800 for the guy that dies.
yeah.
Wild. So
And
we have from YFKR Druid here with the most unique Druid playstyle we've seen so far. Let me just give you a bit of a rundown. We've got Oil Barrage lined up and ready to go. It's fully supported. That's where the Jeweler's Orb has been spent as well. Another Jeweler's Orb on the Cross Slash, which is rocking Brink and Elemental Armament and Magnified Area, just for like big AoE clear, which is how they seem to be
mm,
using that. They've got Wing Blast with Impact Shockwave. They've got Voltaic Mark and Freezing Mark and Infernal Cry and Pounce and Devour. And Savage
nice.
Fury. So Savage Fury is what they're using that spirit from. And they've got 31 spirit on the amulet, which means they can rock that just on the amulet as well. I don't know if maybe the scepter was for Savage Fury or something, because you can do some, I feel like you can do some weapon swap shenanigans with that or something, if I recall correctly. But Savage Fury is the gain Fury on attack, and then you get onslaught and more damage when you trigger it. So it's a big damage boost, speed boost sort of thing there.
So Guided Dice
Bit
actually
of a
goes
wild
for
playstyle.
the extra boss there. So despite being 57 seconds ahead of Whole New Society, they enter this zone at about the same time. But there is a guaranteed shrine in this zone, which from the looks of it, Whole New Society might be going for, while Guided Dice is taking the fastest approach. So you have to go all the way south for that shrine. And I think Whole New Society is looking for it. No, he's actually going to go up. So decides that it maybe is too far away. Guided Dice cuts some corners, and he's definitely going to be the first one to reach the boss. And yeah, Whole New Society, this cost him a little bit of extra time, and unfortunately doesn't result in the acquisition of that shrine either. So I do wonder, was this potentially a mistake from Whole New Society, who really just cannot afford any mistakes at this stage of the game? To be fair, neither of them can. I still believe that Guy That Dies, with a potential rip, might just be able to lose here. They reach the boss at the exact same time. Let's see what kind of damage output are they going to be having. We do have some crazy gearing from Guy That Dies. Additional levels, 4 additional levels. And yeah,
Yeah,
it
look at the
really
damage difference
shows. I
there.
mean, this is a
Oh
big
man.
difference in the output.
Yep. That extra time spent polishing up and gearing up is making all the difference there for guy that dies. And man, that's gonna give him another. It's just like still kind of staying really close to Whole New Society, but like gaining an extra 10, 20 seconds on these boss fights each time. That might give him the extra lead, although randomly going back into the zone accidentally, I think. Maybe
Whoops.
not what he wants to do. Oops. Misclick. Whole New
Happens.
Society having to do a bit of extra work in this Kurtog fight as he dodges all of the steps. I mean, good dodging though. The dodge rolls under his feet. Got that one practiced out. We do go a rune goes in for guy that dies there, so manages to get that rune on the crossbow. The only way to get better than that now is a little bit of extra quality and maybe an artificers if you get lucky.
Look at his inventory too. He's ready. He's got those rings. He's swapping them out depending on the zone that he's going to be in. Now he's going to be focusing on some cold resistance as the mermaid will be coming up soon. Prison after. I wonder, can Whole New Society, maybe with some superior layout reads, come out ahead here? They do have the same layouts. Friendly reminder, this is a fixed seed race, so it does boil down to your ability to read these zones. And almost immediately, Whole New
Production
Society
mentions
running into a bit of a dead end there.
Production mentions that for YFK, the other thing they were using the spirit for earlier was War Banner. We did see them drop that on the ground at the end there. I was wondering about that.
Mm.
So there was a War Banner earlier in that, but now just the just that one damage boost that I was mentioning earlier, the Savage Fury. It's interesting to see a good mix from the Druids. It's still a class that's very raw and being explored. Lots of different potential angles from various different shapeshift strategies to even doing shield walls or indeed grenades on crossbow. So lots of different approaches that the Druid can take, and we've seen a nice mixture of things there. Only Society in full sprint mode, skipping all of the monsters now at this point. It's a basically at this point they want to get to the boss and have, like, if they can manage it, a nice clean final Tavakai kill as quickly as possible, and kind of maybe just crossing your fingers that guy that dies does not have a clean Tavakai kill.
Yeah, I mean,
We
anything
will
can
see.
happen. You can prepare for that fight as much as possible. We've seen people even as high as level 36 die to Tavakai. So, just because you're a couple levels higher and you've got, even 50% more damage, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to die. All it takes is one
Yep.
unfortunate attack. Maybe your cold
That's
resistance
it.
isn't quite up there. Maybe you have an overlap where you're getting sunned and slammed at the same time. Sometimes you're just going to put yourself in a corner. That is not going to be happening in the Singing Caverns, as players have developed a pretty nasty skip for this Siren fight that you're going to be seeing very soon. Some players were not that efficient with it in the first race of the season. Whole New Society especially, he didn't quite have the strategy down. And it cost him a lot of time. In the second race, he clearly knew exactly what he was doing. And we're going to be seeing here from Guided Dice. This is a massive
Damn.
skip for sure.
G-Lure
Oh,
with a very good Viper kill. No immunity phases, just insane bone storm damage. Doing
it's a
everything they
lot.
can to catch back up through these bosses here. Very powerful. And yes, like Rise was mentioning, the
Look at Guy.
Mercs will be going for the skip here on Diamora, positioning at a certain point against the walls. There's a couple of points in the arena you can do this, and if you can get the stun off here, Diamora will just chill for the rest of the fight. You don't have to worry about the mirror phase. No respectfully glimpsing or looking away needing to be considered. We go in. Oh yeah, scoops up a quick rare belt
Whole
as
new.
well. Guy that dies, pile shot they resist maybe.
Speaking of layout reads, just previously, I think I cursed Whole New Society. He is lost badly too. He is just not able to progress through this zone
No.
whatsoever. And yeah, look how far he's fallen behind now. He's still only now enters the Singing Caverns. Tragedy for Whole New Society. I think his odds of winning are just getting slimmer and slimmer. But yeah, speaking of Juluo, the damage is still great. That he must be still beating himself up, being riled up from that unfortunate rip. He does still have some really cool movement strategies here. He does have the shield. He does have those backflips going on, pouncing around, and noticeably, I do think that Jilluo, maybe due to that energy shield buffer, he is able to get through these zones pretty fast compared to his mercenary competition. But will it be enough? I mean, as long as he's not in his demon form, he's not losing HP, so he doesn't have to do nearly as much potion management, right? Whenever you reach that checkpoint, you also have those coming back to you too. But if you're not spending any of it because you just have this extra energy shield, I wonder if it's going to be enough. Whole New Society going for the skip soon.
Let's
So he
see. First, you
positions
got to bait out those water
initially.
pillars. Yeah, you
Okay,
got to
yeah.
get those water pillars out of the way because you cannot be standing there during the skip with the water pillars on top of you. You have to be able
True.
to tank that barrage, but there it goes, successful. So that fight is done and dusted now. I got to point out for Gila, people were getting confused. They'll be like, I think the wrong character's in the bottom left. That person's using a spear and a talisman. That's not a witch. Indeed, that is Gila, and they are hot swapping manually the old way between the talisman, the spear and shields, and their like focus and two sets of wands for the both weapon sets, right? Now that they do
Yep.
not need to kill anything, they've reached their desired XP level threshold of level 36. They've got everything they need. They're just going for pure mobility. So, of course, we are seeing disengage with cooldown recovery and rapid attacks for maximum speed with the talisman, obviously, for pounce for that extra speed as well, with rapid attacks on
It's
there
hard to
as well.
do,
So
but
your mobility and disengage feels so good too. It's like such a good tool for just backflipping through zones like that. Because you see how they just slipped through that doorway that they were stuck on. So like, yeah,
yep.
your pounce is on cooldown. You're stuck in a doorway, body blocked by mobs. You just disengage through there. So if you don't know this, at a certain point, somewhere 02, 03, somewhere around there, GGG changed it so that when you use movement skills, your character actually gets smaller. They shrink down into a little ball basically, and that lets them slip between mobs that they otherwise would get body blocked. So body blocking is still a thing. You can't jump over monsters really, but you can slip between them in through gaps that it wouldn't look like you could actually get through. And whenever you're using those movement skills like disengage, you do become very small and very slippery. And taking full advantage of that there with Gila. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a
It's
mid-league change or something because like everybody was getting body blocked and we were all having a bad time. So they're
you're
like, all right, we'll make you guys small when you roll. And it was like, oh, best change ever. And very nice for the racing, yeah. You get some nice
prisoner
tech.
for
But
guy that
still,
dies.
yeah, Prisoner's a big fight here. One they've got pretty secured typically, especially with this level of damage. Not
We've
bothering to
seen
like
some
draw
rips.
them over to the crossbows or anything. Yeah. Oh, the ballista down the bottom, of course. Yeah, we have seen some rips
Mm,
on Prisoner, but I don't expect any upsets here. That's a big stab though.
That's
Shit.
a big stab. Yeah, this is one of those fights where you're face tanking just enough, but every now and then you face tank a little bit too much, and some of our players do end up dying. Whole New Society catching up a little bit, but we're getting close to the finish line here. Meanwhile, Jiluo on that phase to
Damn.
Doriani still delivering massive amounts of damage.
Yep, and that's done too. Just so much damage there. Gets that stun and finishes it off even more confidently than some of the highest damage grenades we've seen. Just Bone Storm being one of the highest potential skills outside of just obscene weapon drops from crossbows and grenades, or I guess maybe an insane shield. But on average, that Bone Storm looking very, very powerful. So guy that dies just eking out more and more of a lead over Whole New Society. And you know, we as casters and spectators, we're cheering on the close finish, right? So I'm all in on rooting for Whole New Society now. Like I have to say, like guy that
Hell
dies
yeah.
theory looks to be proven true, but Whole New Society,
Well,
I'm pure gumption, determination. I want to see him
I
close
don't even
in.
know. I don't even know if that's true. I do think Guy That Dies just outplayed Whole New Society in Act 1 and
Yeah, just a
2.
better run,
Yeah,
not
and
necessarily
that's just
proving the
it,
theory.
right?
Interesting, interesting. Yeah.
I think if Whole New Society can actually manage to not die, and for the future races, if he would be able to just beat Guy That Dies as he should, because again, Guy That Dies assumed that he's gonna get beaten in Act 1 and 2, then yeah, it would have been enough. Obviously, it all verges on the thing that historically has not worked for Whole New Society, which is one-shotting Tavakai, because he's died every time. It's just a little bit too hard. Meanwhile, Bin Bin in the bottom right on that warrior, still having a pretty good run, takes down the boss, some massive damage coming out from the warrior with that shield wall. And if we take a look at the ladder, it's probably going to be pretty useless for us right now. As yeah, this is a race to kill the bosses and not a race to get the most XP. But if we do still look at it, I think everybody should be where they want to be as far as their progression goes. The warriors being noticeably underleveled. Bin Bin being level 31. No, so we just have a ton of players at level 31 and
Yeah.
29. Pretty competitive race overall. There's just so
Yeah,
many
if you say those
players, more
breakpoint,
and more every week, just fully dedicated to
yeah, it's been
copy the best strategies and do the best that they possibly can.
seen such a closing in of the ranks from like the first season where we had people finishing in like
Yes.
5 hours and other people finishing in 3 hours, and now we've got everyone kind of finishing it with half an hour of each other potentially. So
Yes.
much everybody's growing together and sharing that knowledge and everything as well, and even new faces kind of cropping up each week, each season. It is good to see. Guy that dies playing it safe here, where at the start of the zone, if you kill all the monsters there, you kind of secure that checkpoint so you don't have to sit in the bubble phase again if you die. Probably not expecting to die in here, but we have seen it happen before, and you don't really want to get taken all the way back to the start. A quick Exalt Slam on the crossbow there. I'll have to check that out in a moment, but for the moment, I'm actually checking out Whole New Society's gear
He's slamming.
because I want to compare. Because we know that Guy's gear is big, but what has Whole New Society got to their name? They have themselves a pretty decent alloy crossbow, but that is, not necessarily a good bombard crossbow.
I don't know if that's even decent. I mean,
Yeah.
the elemental damage is
I mean,
pretty
it's got some
low.
big elemental damage rolls. Yeah, they like top elemental damage rolls for what you could have on the alloy crossbow there. That's a pretty decent one, and they do have a pretty nice pair of gloves too. So that is helping them, but it's kind
Okay.
of just keeping them in the game, right? And having a look at their explosive grenade damage, it's 1500 compared to the 2k for Guy that dies, right? Like that's a big difference, 25% difference or something there. So that's not
Torvin.
exactly what he wants. Let me have a look
Oh,
now to see how we're looking on Guy that dies actually as a fresh update. Torvian kill going down in the meantime, and that damage just looking
oh,
insane. Does get the
that was
excellent positioning
weird.
there.
Guided Dice didn't quite hit the first rock, so that results in Torvian being just slightly tanky. It's not enough, really,
Oh, he missed one,
to
did he?
put up a too big of a fight, but yeah, that's one
You
less
only missed
rock that he's
two.
going to be able to throw.
He's over there baiting
Eh,
that rock.
yeah.
It does get it. So if you don't know, you have to get a Torvian to. If you're ever like, why is this fight so hard? Like happened to be the first time. You got to get him to throw the rocks at those platforms to stun the wizards out of their buffs. Otherwise, Torvian just gets extremely hard and extremely tanky. And he did have to kind of go back for that first one there, but does manage to get it down.
Mm-hmm.
Having a look at his gear as soon as I'm off this load screen, it looks like he got some, I think, life per hit on the Exalt Slam, which honestly is pretty good. It's a nice thing to have. You're getting
For
a lot of
sure.
hits with those grenades. It's one of the best defensive things you could get there. Anything
I was
else
going to mention
stand
that
out?
that's
Still
one of the
those,
advantages that Whole New Society has on his weapon, but I guess not
yeah.
anymore.
Now,
Unlucky.
Guy. Yeah, we're like looking for little edge case advantages Whole New Society might have, and it's like, well, he's got some life gain on here. It's like, Guy that dies just slams it on his crossbow as well. No, okay, well. One actually is the so I've got the
Ooh!
level 33, the big polished up bombard. Ooh,
Acceleration Shrine for Guided Dice. So that's going to be a shrine that all the players are going to have available as
yeah,
long as
if
they
they go
go
get
in
it.
that direction.
Yeah,
And
you
yeah,
got to
this
go
is a
check that
big
one.
deal. There are random shrines in this zone. Everybody does get the same shrine, but week to week basis, you're going to
Mhm.
have different shrines depending on the sort of seed that the players are having. And in last week's race, this was really impactful. It was an extremely big deal as to what players are going to be able to do. But Guided Dice picks it up immediately, trying to get through the zone faster. This does provide you with also additional movement speed, not just the projectile
Yeah,
speed
guy that
and
zooms for
the
sure.
extra attack speed. And I wonder for this Benedictus, did he pick it up a little bit too early? He's actually going to be resetting a checkpoint, picking up another. No, okay, no. Wait, what happened? Why did he go for the reset? Huh?
Was he being chased by mobs or something? I don't know. Usually that's the thing, is like clearing out the mobs that are chasing you. But he lost the acceleration run, right?
Yeah.
I guess it
Oi,
was going to run down
oi!
anyway. Oh, very close there. Oh, mate.
Is
It's
he
a little
okay?
bit close. Yeah, it's all right. He's a little bit rattled, probably. Just a
Man,
bit of a
Benedictus still
hitch
has
in
a
the
lot
breath
of
there.
HP
Fine.
though. This might be tricky, right? He got the stun before the phase. Can he kill it instantly now, or will Benedictus be able to
Yeah, he's
fight
got it.
back? Goes for the
Too much
attack, but it's not
damage.
going to be enough.
Too much damage. Not even a problem. But yeah, a little bit of a almost an upset there for a guy that dies. Ooh.
Oh,
Maybe we'll see
Jiluo!
another.
Does Jiluo get it here?
Boom. Yeah,
He
so I think
does.
we
He
saw
doesn't
this
even
last
have
week
to
too.
go.
Yeah,
He just
Jiller
kills
doesn't
it.
even have to use the cheat. Jiller doesn't even have to. Just outright kills the boss before the face. I mean, that's
Damn.
you can. Oh, if I pixel perfect position against the wall, I can dupe the boss AI into skipping the phase. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna kill it. That's the other strategy, and that is indeed
Just kill
Jiller
it.
with the Bone Storms. All New Society does pick up that acceleration shrine, so no loss there. We'll see if they. Oh no! Oh no! No! Whole new society whiffing 3 leap slams, trying to get up, just slightly mispositioning. I think the mouse cursor kind of hovering over that bit of wood instead of the top of the ledge. So just kind of jumping into the wrong non-pathable terrain there and getting stuck on the mob pack, going real low. At least does not suffer a death penalty, but does lose the shrine and is forced to go back through the zone once again. And I believe after you pick up that shrine, because it's a guaranteed one, you can't get it again on the second time, I believe. So no even attempt to go for it this one. So it loses the acceleration shrine for the rest of the zone. Whole new society and a whole new zone. Good one, chat. Meanwhile, Gather Dies flashbanging us all in the top left. Very good. Thank you for not full screening production.
All right, well, we've got Benedictus with Whole New Society now. 600 HP, hits the reset, same as Guided Dies. No shrine lossage. And how much damage
must be like a little
pull
time
up
save
here?
or something on the reset there. Yeah. The problem with this fight dragging on a little bit due to that lower damage that Whole New Society has, 25% less damage than Guy That Dies, roughly. It becomes a much harder fight.
Nice dodge on those rocks. That was pretty close. Baits out the attack.
Oh no.
Stays alive though.
Tries to bait the lightning, gets hit though. He is doing a good job managing the other one, just clearing him out.
That's so much HP that Benedictus has.
Half the second phase here.
Soon.
The stun is not
he doesn't get it.
Quite going to trigger early enough, I don't think. No.
Has to do the maze.
It's going to run down while he's going through the maze probably as well. Yeah, it's starting to decay. He has to deal with these lightnings there. The shield block really nice though. Did not know you could block those. That's cool. All right.
That is really cool.
Loses all that stun bar, so no stun likely to happen here. Unfortunately, just not quite enough damage to get it over the line, but does get the kill. Well, honestly, expertly managed by Whole New Society. He had a much tougher fight for that one. He had to work a lot harder for it, but he did like the best that he could in that situation. Meanwhile, Guy That Dies though, he is halfway through Nakano.
He's reaping.
He's leaping his way through.
He's reaping what he sowed, and it's looking good for him. Guy That Dies looking confident here.
You don't say that to him. He's usually in a positive manner, but indeed.
No, but he is. I mean, that's how you.
And now he's getting a luscious, bountiful harvest now after planting the seeds.
Really beautiful.
He does get a half though, and a bit of a dodgy position, and does go for a reset there. Is he going for a different direction, or
Juluo with the prisoner?
Reset? Just a safety reset, yeah.
Looking good on the damage. Nice stun for Juluo.
Yeah.
All right, Ziggy, use your powers. It's time to unleash the ultimate caster curse upon Guy That Dies.
Manifest.
Take him down, Ziggy.
We've had 2 near misses in the last minute or so. So
yes.
I think, man, like other guys is trying to do everything right here. He's got 813 hit points. You know, it's looking good for him. But really, the shaky hands, right? When you're in the lead, the wind is buffeting you. You know, you don't have the advantage of following in someone else's path. Oof.
This is a weak.
Is the big thing.
This is a weak caster curse. There is no way the Guy That Dies can die here. This guy never dies. Guy That Dies. That's not his name. Okay. He never fails. He's never lost the race before.
Let me have a little geeze here, because he actually does not really have any resistances to speak of. Looking at his ring swap potential, and it's not looking that good. He could sack a little bit of damage for a bit more resistance, but it's not a lot, and that lightning resistance is very low. But I think,
he's got 800 HP.
Yeah, the HP is a big one. It does drop down a little bit though as he swaps some of that gear. Let's see.
790.
There's still very high potential of a death here for Guy That Dies.
And yeah, if he manages to do this fight, this will be the fastest finish we've had, because the previous fastest finish of this season was 2 hours and 17 minutes and 58 seconds. So yeah, we're about 3 minutes away from that.
Zoom. Whoa. Oh, there we go.
Technology.
Let's go. We're zoomed in.
Phase 1 done.
Focused. This is a big one for Guy That Dies. Can he secure a fastest finish yet? Mate, we've seen so many upsets on the 3rd phase of Tavakai. First phase, obviously giving him no grief here. 2nd phase, coming up soon.
Yeah, and still, I mean, even if we look at last week's race, right? Whole New Society would have already been here about 4 minutes ago. So...
Crazy. Yeah, he was so fast through that.
I think
early
it's just an
section there.
unfortunate. Either last race was really good for Whole New Society, or this race was just a little bit unfortunate for him. As yes, now we enter phase 2. Tavakai putting
Damage
up
is looking
quite a
so
fight.
good.
This, however, is one of
Oh, the
the
Rend tech.
easier fights.
Takes him a little bit longer to get the Rend. He misses kind of like the first opportunity and leaps back twice, but does get it down and gets a big bonus damage for that second part there. We see even like the big shot coming down on Tavakai and eats the rest of his health bar in 2 grenade cycles. Very nice. Moving into third phase. I wonder if he can get a Rend off on the third phase, because that would be crazy.
Possibly so.
Do any last little bits. He's like, oh, let me just transmute the the anti-slow charm. Maybe that'll make a difference. Just doing everything he can. He wants this. He wants it. He wants it. All right, here we go. This is it. This is the moment.
Might just get it here. Phase 3 begins. A lot of physical damage. Oh my god, is he just gonna kill it here?
He does eat a slam there though. And he does not get a Rend or anything like that.
The stun goes out, the Rend is out.
He gets the Rend tech. Oh, it's gonna be so much damage. It's gonna be so much damage.
Oh, but he's taking a lot of damage.
Out of the way though. He eats spikes. He eats lightning. He has like no lightning resistance. He cannot be eating those little lightning strikes.
He can't see the boss. The slimes are coming out. The explosion's gonna be out.
He's trying everything he can to throw it away. But he's
in trouble. He takes it down.
How does he do it? How does he make that work? He shouldn't be alive.
Potions. 0 potions left.
Zero potions. Gets it done. Oh, mate. He should not be alive after that, but he does it anyway. Maybe proving his theory right. Maybe just proving that he is, a goated mercenary player. Either way,
I think he's just better.
His Act 1 securing a huge win there. It's just, it was just
Act 1, his Act 2, Act 3, they're just better. Whole New Society, keeping up. Now doing his phase 1, but man, he has to do better in those early acts. Guy That Dies, just so good at those early acts. And yeah, it's gonna be enough. But can Whole New Society, I mean, this is one of those things where Guy That Dies wins. But if Whole New Society can win, can beat Tavakai without a death, I think that's still a massive success. Sure, he doesn't get a demi, but he proves that his strategy, I still think, is riskier. But if you're going for a world record, it might be the superior approach, right?
Yeah, well, we did see him get there so fast, and if he somehow pulled out the actual first go kill last week, then yeah, it would have been a better time. But that said,
oh my god,
oh my going solo there.
Oh my god.
Oh, the spikes. Oh, the dodge rolls look super dodge. But he got it. He got it. Just threading the needle through those spikes. Come on. Come on. Watch. Oh, good timing with the spikes there. Very nicely. Calmly done, actually. But yes, he, Guy That Dies actually got that kill 1 minute and 23 seconds faster than Gormus's time last week. So we do have the fastest overall kill for Guy That Dies with that win as well. So not only best mercenary, but best overall for the season. Of course, Gormus wasn't here to try and challenge him on that one, but a slight asterisk maybe.
And Whole New Society do it here. Something that he has not managed to do in the first race and the second race. Mate. The third phase is always the most difficult one. Third race, third phase. Is this the one where he's gonna get it? It still will be. He's going to feel the sorrow of the silver. But again, can he show that this strategy is the better one nonetheless?
Come on, Whole New Society. I want a good, strong finish from him here, but he's got such a hard fight ahead of him. It's good so far. Really good so far. Bet cleaner than Guy That Dies so far. Mate.
Here comes the pop.
He's rocking Tavakai. Yeah, positions that nicely. Doesn't get hit by the slam or the spikes. Damn, such good positioning.
Where's the rain?
And just maintaining a constant rain of damage.
Nice stun.
Whole New Society.
Just the bookend. He needs to get out of the spikes.
Don't panic. Don't panic. He's fine.
He actually did it. Oh, no. He's fine? He's okay.
He gets it. He gets it. Okay, he gets it. Oh, my lord.
Man, what do you do? What do you do as Whole New Society? Do you celebrate? Are you sad? What are the feelings right now?
Yeah, it's gotta be a mixed set of feelings for Whole New Society for sure. I mean, that was just such an epic finish for him on that boss there. So you've got to be at least happy with that. He did put on a really good showing. But obviously, yes, like you said, the sorrow of silver for whole new society after a phenomenal effort to keep up with a better geared, a better leveled, and a stronger early acts from guy that dies, guy new society, guy that dies as well. All right. With the mercenary race decided and the overall race decided, we still have the other classes. And of course, we have Shiny Scales up on top left as the warrior, competing strongly against Bin Bin down in the bottom right, trying to take a win for warrior. Possible, well, definitely their first ever win if they can manage it.
It's
With
close.
Engormus being absent, it has been a close
Ooh,
race for them. Bin
and a
Bin arguably
difference.
being a stronger player, but dying. And
A
Shiny Scales
difference in
hanging in there.
approach. Shiny Scales found the acceleration shrine, but doesn't take it for the zone progression. Instead, Bin Bin progressed with it and kept it for the entire boss fight. So no reset
Interesting.
there. Neither of the players really going for the mercenary approach. Either one of the winning mercenaries. But Bin Bin, nonetheless, caught up and ahead of Shiny Scales, who's still rocking a amazing shield. How is his Benedictus fight going to look like?
Yeah.
700
Oh man, that's
HP.
chunky damage. Look at the stun just straight away. Oh my god, that's some big shield damage. I think that's the best shield damage we've seen so far, and a bit
Yeah,
extra fast with the acceleration shrine too. Damn, that's hitting harder than the Rend stacked grenades.
and he can just
Crazy.
stack it up now and kill the boss instantly. That's exactly what you're about to be
Yeah,
seeing.
gets the
That's the
prep.
maximum
Oh
amount of
mate,
damage that you can
that
put
is
out in this fight.
yeah, that's pretty much optimal warrior boss killing there with just an insane shield. You can only get a little bit better than that, and an
Ooh,
acceleration shrine on top of that as
Jiluo!
well.
Jiluo is good. He goes for
Ooh,
the
bit of a
reset,
reset.
dropping really low as he was approaching Tavakai. He's close, but is there any witch that is questioning Jiluo's
Yeah,
powers
Jilo just been
here?
so dominant on the witch. It'd be interesting to see where the next one is, but I don't think they have any strong contenders. They're
No,
just
not at
so
all.
dominant on the
None.
witch right now. Yeah. I
Zero.
mean, they're good enough
Nobody.
to be threatening the mercs on a witch, right? For a lot of these
Yep.
races. And if they hadn't had that upset, they would have been fairly close within 5 minutes of the mercs, which is an impressive feat on the witch here. And I'm looking forward to hopefully a nice, strong finish for them here as they're using all of that, taking advantage of all of that mobility. They are on track to get the next overall kill on the boss if they can have a smooth run through Tavakai. Well, we have our warriors competing and LHD, our huntress, moving up through, also gaining that acceleration shrine for the boss kill too, and ready to move on.
Yeah, I mean, this is really, as much as it is right now Bin
Take it full
Bin's
speed.
race to lose in a lot of ways. Again, Tavakai is just so tricky. It is kind of crazy that we've seen two fights already with no deaths. Last week, I think just about nobody was finishing. They were just all dying. Whoever got there
Yeah,
early.
two
Giluo with his witch
two
fight now.
Tavakaias with no deaths. That's crazy, unheard
That's
of.
crazy.
Usually Tavakai maintains a
Oi,
positive kill
oi.
death ratio, right? Oh, that's a big
Yep.
hit for Jilo there. Ouch. Just needs a backhand swipe from Tavakai.
But the energy
But that
shield,
Bone
it's coming
Storm.
back. 527,
Yeah,
640
that
HP.
helps.
Oh, that was he went for the
A little
pause there, I think.
yeah, paused maybe just a little bit. I'm not
Checking
sure.
if
A bit
his
unsure
energy
for a
shield is
second there.
right.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
gonna
you
take down phase one.
pause and check. Okay, is my energy shield full? Okay, it's fine. Unpause.
Yep.
True. There is an energy shield pause strategy there that they can use. All right. Demon form here going into second phase. Expecting some big damage off the channel there. Getting ramped up. The impales go down. The living lightning starts eating the impales. Leave that little bonus chip damage. And the big bone storms come down. The stun being a huge factor for this one. The Infernalist wanting to maintain optimal positioning while channeling. They have to be simultaneously dodging the spikes as well as making sure they're actually in range for their bone storms to hit. And so far,
Didn't get hit a single
pretty much
time.
perfect.
Phase
Yeah,
2
just
is the
perfect
easiest
positioning.
one, but not a single hit
Achilles just,
coming out from Tavakai.
oh mate, just
And you have
very,
to keep in
very
mind,
smooth movement and gameplay control.
Giluo died twice or only once?
We definitely had one. I can't remember if there was the second one or not.
I mean, if
It's been
this
a,
was
it's been a bloodbath.
if it would have been two, then he wouldn't have done quite well enough to catch up the guy that dies. But really, you don't really know what psychologically that does
One
to a
death,
player,
yeah.
right? Like if you're dying, Do you try harder? Do you try less? Like, it really depends on the individual here. So it's kind of hard to judge the overall performance. Obviously,
Damn,
in a
that movement.
situation like that, yeah, Giluo thinks that he can't beat the mercenaries anymore, but he still wants his witch win. And he might just get it here as he's been dodging really well. He does get hit quite a lot there. The
Oh,
energy shield needs
huge
to
hit
come
into the
back.
stun. Mate, oh, big stun, big hits, and big finish. Very
Man.
nice. And just like, oh man, such good movement too. They were like starting the channel out of range as they were dodging splacks and going into range right at the moment they released. Oh, mwah. Chef's kiss, just perfection. Back to Bin Bin with the warrior leading here. I don't know if I checked out Bin Bin's shield for comparison, but they look like to be doing some very, very hefty damage there as well. Let me have a look at Bin Bin, because we know that Shiny Scales have that obscene shield, right? I want to compare here, because those two are pretty close to each other. Where is actually production? Where is Shiny Scales in relation to Bin Bin right now? How close are they? Here we go. Let's have a look. That is a 286 armor shield. What? Okay.
That's stupid.
Okay.
That's just not right.
Crazy. All right. So Bin Bin is like even crazier on the shield. Obviously, Shiny Scales had that one really early. But look at that damage. Holy.
My God. If you
Angormus
combine.
is just like seething right now.
Yeah, because if you take the first, Angormus won all of the warrior races, so he won the first one and the second one. And if you combine his shield from the first one and the second one, it's still not as good as this shield. You can literally add them up, and they're not as good as this one.
He's basically morphed two Angormus shields together for this final fight here. Angormus seething right now. He's like, why can't I get a shield like that? You just imagine Angormus with that shield, right? Crazy. Oh no. Angormus has been cursed with the shield crafting in RNG lately, but not these guys. These guys are taking it. Oh mate. Yeah, BM
Chinese Scales
with the shapeshifts.
Chinese Scales is really close, so Bin Bin has to pull it off here. If he dies, it's gonna be everything.
It's, oh mate, I was gonna say it's actually kind of hard for the warrior to die here, but it can still happen because obviously they're just blocking. They've got so much armor, they've got so much block. You know, it's helping a lot. Really tanky, lots of health, 830 health with the shield up, and so much damage and so much stun. He does get hit a few big times there, but look at that final hit. Oh my lord, so much damage.
Bin Bin
does secure his first, I believe, warrior kill, taking the throne, and that's going to be exciting for next season, next set of races when Bin Bin and Angormus get to face off against when Angormus can come back. That is going to be very good. But huge congratulations to Bin Bin there. Very, very nice run. And Shiny Scales as well. Like, I had people saying that Shiny Scales would not be close to Bin Bin, honestly, and they are very close. This is such a good finish for them.
Bin Bin won the first one, Shiny Scales won the second one, and now Bin Bin takes it back. Once again, he claims it. Nice. But it was still really close. It was closer than last week if Shiny Scales manages to finish it here, and he is looking quite strong.
A gigantic set of spikes went already low there in second phase there, I believe. Oh, that is a brutal upset for the Huntress LHD, currently leading. I don't know if there's any close Huntresses. We'll check from production. Dead. Yep, dead.
Well, both LHD is dead and the Tavakai for Shiny Scales will manage to finish it. And one thing that I gotta say, a trend that we've been seeing, we're not seeing nearly as many deaths on this fight, but you know what we also haven't seen? The Cold Rain attack from Tavakai. We haven't seen it a single time. And that's the attack that was really taking a lot of players by surprise. They had to raise up their shield quickly enough to not get frozen, to not have to go for the reset or the immediate death. We really haven't seen it. Players are doing too much damage, and that's been allowing them a much safer overall Tavakai kill. Even for whole new society, I don't think that we saw a single one of the cold attacks yet. So either a lot of RNG, a lot of luck for our players, or yeah, some really good adjustments to their previous approaches to these fights. As Shiny Scales finishes after Bin Bin, but nonetheless a great run as we switch on over to Lee Donglin, who is dead, to LHD, who is dead, and Leru, who is up after he just died. So, okay.
And Crimson in the top left, filling in for one of our finishing players. But Letu is the one to watch right now as the Sork, because they're having an extremely good run. And we saw, when we talked to them earlier, some obscene single target damage on Ember Fusillard. So I'm really looking forward to seeing just how that plays out here. Yeah?
we've got an update. 3Knife, who is another super prominent sorceress player,
Yeah,
has
we know
killed
Knife.
Benedictus. So it's very
Ooh,
close between Leru and 3Knife, who we're probably going to be switching
okay.
over.
Oh, the
Because,
reset here for Letu.
yeah, that's
Okay.
big.
If
That
we,
there should be really close.
yeah, I think we should try and pull that Sork up, second place Sork on screen as
Get
well,
Crimson
maybe
out of here.
when we can. Sorry,
He,
Crimson.
he wouldn't mind.
Get them in here. I want to say because they're like, yeah, they are biting at Letu's ankles right now, and if Letu, well, they just had a reset. If they have an actual death here, oh, this is not looking good for them. This positioning and stuff is okay. They managed to get through that pretty nasty pack there, and oh man, going pretty low as they jump through the next pack there as well. A pack of champions. Some leap slams through the gaps there. We are seeing some stuttery looking movement is just on our end as the spectators. So Letu is gameplay is likely not causing any issues for them. Just an IR sometimes. A bit of rubber banding for our spectator client, which does unfortunately happen occasionally, but Letu seeming to get through here, making it just a little bit extra
LHD
scary
is
looking
back
for us.
in.
LHD back in the Tavakai fight after their upset in phase 2. Hopefully they can get a
Leru.
smooth run this time. Don't know if
Leru
there's
is
any
in as
huntresses
well.
that were close to them.
It's Leru's race to
I think
lose
Shaw
on
is
the
on.
Sorceress. 3Knife
They're
staying close.
I think if LHD has another death, then that might risk their win on the Huntress, so they need to be very careful about that. Letu also, same deal with another Sorceress threatening them. 3Knife in the bottom right there. So,
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, this is super close
let's
for
have a
both
look.
of them.
Yeah, both
Huntress.
Sorceress and Huntress wins under fire here. High pressure Tavakai. They really can't afford a single death on these ones.
Yup. Huge damage coming up from Leru. The Ember Fusillade is just so strong. Has to dodge the big slam. Will do so as the boss phase is over. 3Knife still
There's
making
Score the
his way
Huntress.
over.
We've seen them a couple times before. Score the Huntress just starting the Tavakai fight now as well with LHD in second phase. So again, if LHD goes down, that will be Score's win to take. It does
Yeah,
look like LHD is a bit better geared on the defenses at least.
and I believe that Shka won the last week race on the Huntress. So this is also another big rivalry that we're having here because
Yeah, they
LHD
did.
won in the first race. So they're 1-1. Who will take the
Yeah.
season on the Huntress?
Oh, I love it. That's what you want to see. Letu doing lots of damage in second phase there. We have big third phase coming down. Simultaneously, both of them in LHD right now, it looks like. Or is that second phase for LHD? Second phase now.
Yep. LHD
Wait,
is
no,
close
yep.
to finishing.
Okay.
It's his race to lose
Here
for
we go.
sure.
We can't full screen on either of them because they're both happening right now.
Anybody can die here, and yeah, that
Yep.
will. I mean,
don't
it
wanna miss
might be
it.
everything because you never know. Your competition can die as well, right? Just because
Oh.
the lead dies doesn't mean that the other player can't. LHD goes down. Shka suddenly a surge
We're starting to,
of.
yeah. Scores chance now. Scores chance as they move into the second phase, and LHD has to sit through 2.5 minute death penalty. That means, yep, unless Score has a death now, and we trade back and forth, that is their chance to win that. Oh, that's got a sting. Throwing away that one there. I saw them start to panic with their movement through the spikes, and did get down with the swipes there at the end. Just a bit of biz positioning. Meanwhile, Letu taking a big hit, but positioning comfortably through the spikes, channeling up a giant Ember Fusillade and some big damage off that gigantic channel. Man, that thing can put out some damage. Misses half of that. Ember Fusillade has to get another one down,
enough.
giving the boss another chance to kill them, but they do get the win. Letu securing the win over 3Knife, who went down in the background there as well. I see that we're sitting there on the death timer for 3Knife. So Letu has that one in the bag. Congratulations, Letu. And now we have Score pushing, and we can full screen them. I think production. We can do it.
Again. Yeah, Leru manages to finish after a tumultuous race. Shka, we don't really know what was happening with them in the background, but with the 2 deaths from LHD, this gives our Huntress player an opportunity to get that Demi here. Third phase, half HP, a lot of damage coming
Nice.
out. The stun is in.
Ooh.
The spikes are dodged. So far,
Right.
no rain. 688 HP. No mana left. No mana potions. He does still have the mana to do the attacks. He will
Yeah, he's
be
got it,
able
he's
to
got
get
it.
it here.
Yes, he's
What a
got a nice
finish.
little barrage at the end there. Very nice. Fires a couple regular crossbow bolts to finish him off. Love it, Score getting the win there for the Huntress after it was thrown away. Very nicely
Nice.
done score, breaking their 1-1 tie between the Huntresses. That was the Huntresses, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Over LHD there. Very
For
nice. LHD
the
getting a chance to go in now. We're going to check in on some of the others now, as we have had the main competition decided for the top few classes, but there's still a couple of other ones, bits and pieces here. We're just checking about where our like monk progress is, and who else are we missing? We haven't had a druid finish yet, so that'll be lead on.
yeah, Druid and Monk.
Leading the pack in the druid. Yeah, druid and monk, I believe. It's interesting. We've had druid just be like up and down in the pack, like, you know, third in one of them. Let me check. It was like middle of the pack first one, upper middle of the pack fourth place in week 2. And I still do think there's some really high potential in the druid, but it's just such an unpolished strategy set right now, and like so much diversity in the strategies too. People still kind of figuring out what to do. It's a big ask to go to a new class.
It's a 3-0 for Leto as well, going back to the Sorceress really quick. Because, yeah, every time 3-Knife got close, and people were thinking that 3-Knife might be the Sorceress winner every time. But Leto comes out ahead every time. And when it comes to the Huntress, it was right. We ended up with the 2-1 in the end, which coming out triumphantly over LHD, who is still looking to finish his fight. Coming back in now, Lee Donglin finishing his Benedictus on the Druid, and you've got Crate on the Monk in the bottom right.
The Relicario and Leadon actually very close to each other, both pushing into the final push right now, as well as Crate Fiery, our Monk, who plays the Monk playstyle, and you love to see it. I always am super happy to see them. We get to see them a little bit at the start and a little bit at the end, and I'm always very impressed with what I see. But just Monk has a few gaps in its playstyle and in its strategy that just causes it to not really be able to keep up with the others. But that said, there is a potential that Monk might be Druid this week, which would be a nice win for them.
Wait, but this is
taking last place in the pack.
From what I understand, you know what's about to happen, right? Ziggy, for Relicario. Lee Donglin is close, but Relicario, he's got the strat.
Yeah. If it works out.
We've seen it work out. As long as they get there, it works. Seen it work
out. I've also seen it not work out on occasion, so we'll see. What are they talking about?
This would be huge for Relicario. Just before we break down the strategy, as the players are still getting closer to the boss, for the Druid, it has been incredibly competitive, but the first race, Lee Donglin, did manage to beat out Arco, who's a super prominent player on the Druid, with Relicario really nowhere in sight. And you have to keep in mind, we saw Relicario die twice already in Act 1. So the fact that he's still in with his unorthodox approach is really impressive. In the second race, Lee Donglin gets Druid. It's not close. Beats out YFK, Relicario nowhere in sight. But Relicario still tweaking, still adjusting his strategy, still polishing it. And not only is he first in the progression, as again, we're still close to the boss, he has the strat. He does the damage.
No, that health is going very low as he eats like a bleed through that zone. Thinks about the reset, changes. Oh no, he should have gone for it. What?
Oh,
twice.
That's everything.
Twice.
I was about to say that Relicario is the underdog here. He's lost, but he's been polishing his strategy, and as long as he gets to the boss, it's gonna be clean, baby. Hurts. He doesn't get to the boss though.
I can feel that. He was just so unsure. You're like, toggled the pause. Do I log? No, maybe I can. Oh, do I? Oh.
And he didn't need to do it either. This is something that he's going to look back on, and he's going to know, I was so far behind. Everything worked out. I practiced this. And then in the end, he thought about it, and he just made the wrong call. Sometimes from the players that are most experienced, we see this happen. We saw it before with Crimson, where he was in a situation where he really could just afford to reset at the checkpoint. He decided not to go for it. It cost him everything. For Relicario, we don't quite know if it cost him everything yet, but it's for sure costing him these 2.5 minutes as he's frantically rubbing his beard and spamming the ladder command, just trying to get something out of this pause.
Agonizing 2.5 minutes for Relicario to sit through here as he basically watches lead on. But look at the Monk competition though, right?
Right.
Yes.
Ziggy, this
This
is gonna
is
be clutch.
this
They're
is
pretty much at the
wild.
exact same
They're like in the
spot.
same spot in the zone. Yeah, I think they are, right? Ooh, Reese is going very low though. I want to see them both get to the boss fight and take it on at the same time. And excitingly, for some of the no, great, come on, hang in there. No, that's so dodgy. That was so dodgy. But the spear backflip, the disengage, helping once again as he slips through just gaps that he should have died in. Oh man, those disengages through the door there were so good. Oh mate.
Super.
Oh mate, no, Rhesus also going a little low there against that enraged pack of blood frenzied warriors.
Just a quick rundown.
Simultaneous.
Rhesus was a druid in the first race, and our monk that won was Billy, who is not even here at the moment at all. And then Crate, I can't quite find. For the second race, I believe Crate was the player to win monk. Yes, he was. So this is actually super duper close. As far as Resus goes, Resus was nowhere near, but he did already switch over to...
Crazy run from Resus.
No, wait! Resus was still a druid in the last race. So Resus being a monk in this one is an absolute switch up, and he's very close to taking the crown away from Crate.
And
would be a
for
huge
the grenade
upset.
haters in chat, I know there are some of you. This is an exciting fight for you, no doubt, as we do have Rhesus playing grenades on the monk, while Crate is playing as an actual true-blooded monk. Yeah, a real monk. They got that disengaged spear action for mobility, but they are using the lightning strike. They're using all of the monk skills. They're using a quarterstaff. No grenades here. So, which one is going to do it? Right?
Relicario is back up, but Lidong Glyn already done with his phase 1. And yes, Crate is ahead with the authentic monk. I mean, I'm rooting for the underdog that Resus is, but
yeah, he's on swapping over to monk here and adapting that playstyle that he's used before to monk is like impressive work, honestly, to be up here competing with Crate right now. But Crate goes really low on the spikes there. No, we cannot have a death here. We cannot. Disengage, repositioning is kind of setting these ads up a little bit. There's some potential there for like Coles and power strikes, so you can charge out that giant lightning strike. We've seen that in the past with the monks, where they manage those ads carefully as a resource to be utilized in the fight. No power charges going into the third phase though. Is going to have to do it au natural.
Relicario is not doing the Wyvern Stride. He's actually Bone Storming, so he's not going to be able to get the one shot whatsoever. Lidong Glyn.
He's got it on his bar there, but he's maybe just using Bone Storm to like build up a stun. Let's see. Oh, he goes so low there. He goes so low. He's going for the barrage now. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing, right? He's using Bone Storm to build up a stun. We've seen Bone Storm be so strong for stun build up. It's so weird, right? Yeah, it's a weird one. That is a weird strategy, but
something's wrong for Relicario. He should be able to be one-shotting this boss, but he's not getting the build-up that he wants. And now he's going to just kill it with Bone Storm.
Yeah, there was an ad blocking as well. But meanwhile, Crate Fiery just on that authentic monk experience. And I love the gameplay from the monk here. It's so try hard. He has to try so hard. Ooh, it's just like full out. Like I got a palm strike. I got a backflip. I got a slam. I got a reposition. He's got to do so much. And look, he gets the stun down here. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, but Resus is done.
Oh.
Resus won.
No, Resus. Oh, and Crate was looking so strong in the earlier phases too. I was tunnel visioning on Crate because it was too fun to watch.
That was so close. I cannot believe it.
What an upset. Grenades, man.
Grenades.
My head.
Okay,
I love grenades, but look, right now, I don't love grenades. Boo.
Can Lidong Glyn catch up? Or can he keep up, actually, as Relicario is putting out a lot of damage?
Yeah, here we go. Here's that barrage for Relicario. That's pretty good. That gets him down there.
He's gonna get it here.
Lidong just tanking, using the shield to full advantage there. He's just tanking the ice rain and everything with it as well. Throwing down those grenades. Once again, we have a grenade v non-grenade authentic druid experience versus grenade druid. Once again for you.
And grenades win.
Deciding again. Here we go. Mate, Lidong.
That death from Relicario was everything.
Yeah. If he gets through this cleanly, then that's just going to hurt a little bit more, right? Because he knows he had it. If he doesn't
we can full screen Relicario. We'll talk about the monk.
Here we go. This is yeah.
But just so you guys can get an idea of what the druid is really capable of for these fights. Relicario, will he be able to get the big barrage here? This is the strategy that what we were talking about. He gets a little bit of a build up. There's some things that you have to prepare
Yeah, the
for the
Bonestorm
big
is a
barrage.
new. Oh, that slam, mate!
He's
So
good.
scary. Yeah, Ranger in the background being the one that's in last this time around for the classes. Having a rough run.
Interesting.
Oh,
He's
mate.
not just sending it. Oh, he dies.
No! Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh,
We did not get a chance to see that
man.
gigantic barrage there, did we? That was
Yep.
that's a tough one for him. He came so close though. He tried so hard. Just couldn't
Yep.
quite get it in the end. Yeah. The Druid barrage,
And look at that.
oil barrage can be so powerful, but it's
Billy
it can be
Billy,
difficult to pull off though.
our monk player from the previous weeks,
Oh,
only now beginning his fight. So this is something that he's going to have to improve if he wants to remain competitive on the monk fight. He still had his demi in the previous weeks, but this week around, there's 2 other players who managed to beat him out. As
I
Relicario
like
looks
seeing
at
that
his gems, man, it's so sad though, right? Because he's done so much prep, so much work. It's clear
yeah,
that he
I feel
has
for him, yeah.
the Druid strategy, but somehow it just never comes together quite right for
I love the
Relicario
Ranger
here.
escape shots through the doors and everything. It looks so
Yep.
good. We could probably full screen Billy Billy maybe and check out some authentic monk gameplay perhaps. And production in the background are just kind of getting the lay of the land for the Rangers, seeing if anyone's super close on the Rangers. We have a Ranger maybe coming up to a finish here, so we might be able to see them close it out.
Well, we
Depending
have
on how close they
Benedictus
are.
for one of the
Yeah,
Rangers, so we're
not too far off
close.
then. Ooh. It's so good. I like watching the monk boss fights. A bit of a
It's
miss on the lightning strike there. Yeah, he's ready. He's ready for a stun. There we go. The wind buff is online. When they get that little yellow circle, they can trigger a palm strike there to get the wind buff, adding extra attacks to their attacks. There's a lot going on for monk.
sure, but
It's
it
a bit
is pretty.
complicated and also higher skill expression. It makes for some pretty entertaining looking boss fights. Oof.
Interesting that I mean, he probably knows that he's lost, but it's interesting. Typically, you'll see players go to the door already, so you're kind of immediately ready. You don't have to do that little bit of a run back towards the door. But yeah, I think Billy is fully aware of what has transpired in this race, and he's
Give us
just
a
making
good
sure
showing
that he
here
can
for this
have a good
Tavakai
fight.
kill. And then we'll scope out and see where the Rangers are at. Oh, big hit there. 600 health is not super safe. I don't think we've ever really seen a particularly safe monk fight. They're always pretty much like having to try as hard as they can and be very squishy while doing it, which is a difficult combo when you're locked in on like getting your combinations of skills down and, you know, getting hit by slams at the same time. It can be a rough time. Part of what makes monk so difficult, and yet I do love to see the monk truists, the monk people getting on and trying to make it as good as possible, believing in the class. Oh, mate, going a little low there. Done a half on the life flasks, but should see phase 2 through here without too many other issues. He's got one mob ready for a wind buff, but does not get it. Could have taken that through into the next phase, although it's a pretty long monologue, so maybe not. So we have in the background though the Rangers, Wynax playing on Grenade Ranger and Lissera playing Bow Ranger, and they are pretty close. Wynax did die to Benedictus, but is a couple minutes ahead still, so it's going to be kind of a close race between them potentially if Lissera can catch up a little bit here. We might be able to see a bit of a competition between the Rangers to finish this off today, but for now, Billy phase 3 Tavakai coming up.
20% shock, but it's for a very short time. There's that ice rain. He actually goes for the dodge, doesn't raise up his shield.
Yeah, no,
Will manage to stay alive.
Yeah, just using that mobility instead. Yes, if you hadn't noticed before, you can actually block those icicles. Block is very powerful nowadays. Dealing with those spikes.
Pretty
Oh, I was about to say
nasty.
comfortably, but gets
He might
hit by
die
the edge
here.
of one of the explosions.
Pasti, the
This is
sun!
very scary. No. Full panic now. No, he stays calm.
Oh yeah, that
Very
was
good
clean.
effort staying calm there. But like he's not using that last life loss charge because it's his last one, but he's not full. He's 480 health, and that puts him in danger of just dying to one of the slams. So, ooh, like that. He actually
Go
does
one
have
more.
another charge. Flask charge, but he's being very conservative. Honestly, nerves of steel to be so conservative with the flasks there. Oh, just moving into the lightning strike positions right after they trigger is very brave. Look at
You
him
will.
go!
Nice.
Wow, mate! Some high skill monk gameplay. You love to see it. Phenomenal effort right there. Relicaria now getting another chance on the Druid after eating their death penalty. Wineaxe going down to a gigantic Benedictus explosion. Did he get lost in the maze?
Again, this is the second time this has happened to him. In the background, he's already died once. This is giving Lysara a good opportunity to catch up. Still
Yeah.
needs to do Torvian, but with all of these deaths from Wineaxe, Lysara is getting close. Relicario, can he get this now?
Show us, mate. I'm ready to believe. Show us the Bone Storm, building the stun into Oil Barrage. I am not fully sold on this. I get the theory of it. It's the first time we've seen this, I believe. I don't recall this one in the past.
Well, I mean, it
But
happened in the previous races, and it was just instant. He would just instantly kill the boss. So I'm not
yeah,
quite
yeah.
sure.
Oh
He's
no,
dead.
the slam. What? Oh. You can see the physical pain on his face when he eats that slam, the shock. He was not expecting that one. That is a brutal one for him there. He's going to check out some of the other races now, maybe do a bit of build tinkering. Unfortunate. That does bring us to the finale for us here today is the competition between Lysara and Wineaxe. It looks like we could full screen Lysara for this boss fight here as we find out if they can get through Torvian cleanly, they might be able to catch up to Wineaxe. Lysara basically needed 2 deaths from Wineaxe, and Wineaxe delivered. So that's all that Lysara needs to
Damn,
have a chance
Ziggy.
here.
Ruthless.
Deliver the 2 deaths. I need 2 deaths from you. Here you go.
He might
Mate,
need
look at
3,
that. The
honestly.
electrocution.
Lysara is still really far away.
That was
But this
really
Torvian fight
good
is looking
timing
good.
on the rock throw. Positioning there. Just like dodge rolling at the exact moment they were going to throw that rock. So good. So playing the bow strategy, obviously it's about putting those lightning rods down. And there is like so much to do as a bow character to make this work. It's a bit like the monk. It's very high effort. We know that lightning rod, lightning arrow is very powerful. We've seen it before, and we've seen it just dumpster some bosses. Is that a pause or just a little hitch there in the stream?
It was a pause.
Okay, there we go. It's
Here comes
just
the beam.
It's a lot. It's a lot. They have to pre-stack the rods. They
He has no mana.
Arrow down.
0 mana, 0 mana flasks.
That's really no. He cannot. He has to reset.
He
can't
did reset.
do that. He has to reset.
Oh
He
no!
goes for the reset. The other 2.5 minutes, like the death was inevitable there. Oh,
Was
the mana management issue. You might have been just double tapping a mana flask at some point, or just not putting out enough damage. I don't know. Maybe Torvian moves around too much and you miss a set of lightning rods. That can be absolutely devastating. They're gonna try and get back into it. Hopefully here in a second. Looks like they're doing a little bit of tinkering in town, maybe trying to like solve a problem there. But that does give Wineaxe a chance to maintain their lead now, unless they have another upset on Benedictus. But here we go. Attempt to pre-stacking those lightning rods. But yeah, as I was saying, they got a pre-stack lightning rods, they got an electrocuting arrow, they got a frost bomb, voltaic mark, elemental weakness, and then lightning arrows, and also replace rods if they move or anything like that. That could be devastating. Doing a really good job of positioning and keeping them there.
They're just cheating.
Like,
look at Wineaxe.
Yeah, grenades is cheats.
It's like that gif where the guy singing while the other guy's like slamming his keyboard. That's the difference between grenades and lightning rod, honestly.
Yeah, the lightning rod can be extremely high potential, but you got to work real hard for it. And as you can see, Lazarus kind of like the way they're herding the boss, moving around them constantly
that's nice.
to keep them on top of those lightning rods. There was some good damage there. You can see it like it pops off when it works, and that's why electrocute's really important to get down right. He's got that electrocute.
Wineaxe is dead.
Gives him a chance to stack those lightning rods and get some. Wineaxe just delivering another opportunity for Lazarus to catch up.
And he was so close too. He was almost done with Benedictus, but that will be a third rip in the second phase as well for Wineaxe. But once again, Lysara has no mana flasks left, 1 life flask.
No,
but he's got enough mana to finish here.
Oh, it costs so much mana. The skills are so expensive, and the boss is nowhere near the lightning rods. They're on the other side of the arena. You're gonna have to default attack this through. I don't think they'll be willing to reset.
He has to reset.
Unless maybe he's just gonna It's just gonna send it. Just do like a half stack of lightning rods and try and lightning arrow him down. Look, I think he can do it. He can do it.
He's
Yes, default attack. Go on, just send it. Go on.
the boss was stunned. He didn't finish it.
No, he couldn't see through the lightning beam, the giant bright beam. He couldn't see through it.
He was just auto attacking with no mana.
Oh, mate. Well, that was an entertaining fight. Oh, Relicario, no. Relicario's just cursed. He's just confuddled right now.
Arco died too.
What?
While running to the boss.
Oh, no. The Druids are not having a good day.
But look at this, Ziggy. Lysera has 1 minute to get through the zone, and they're going to be starting Benedictus at just about the same time as Wynax is going to be able to start moving. About it.
Lysera has not taken the acceleration shrine yet. If they find that and they can get through on one fight, that could be enough to pull ahead of Wynax here, because obviously Wynax can't go and get the acceleration shrine now on attempt 3 for this fight.
Yep.
And obviously Wynax is probably, there's the acceleration shrine. Are they going to save it or pick it up now? They're getting it now. Probably a wise choice. Just get through this zone a bit cleaner. Wynax, is that a tilt quit? I was wondering.
There's no way.
I was thinking like the triple death to Benedictus there has got.
I mean, come on, you still have an opportunity to get rank 1. No,
chance, right? You still have a chance. You got to stay in there.
He's technically still ahead. There's no way that this is a quit.
I'm reminded of early GGs in my StarCraft days. Did you know they were hallucinated? There's an old reference for you there.
I know, that was... Oh god, it was Idra and the Protoss guy. Come on.
Yeah. And Huck, I think.
Huck. Thank you, jeez.
He used, for the non-StarCraft players, the guy had a fake army, and it caused the other guy to quit early when he was winning. That's what I'm reminded of here.
I mean, there's no way that he actually... No, that was a client crash. Okay, I think he's still okay.
Might have been a crash. He might still be in it. Hopefully he's still in it.
He can totally finish here.
Yeah, he can log in and start the fight like right now at the same time as Lysera, and hopefully they realize that, and hopefully they do get it back up.
I think so. Lysera starting their Benedictus.
Yeah, with a big hit taken there. I got
this will be a hard 10 seconds fight.
Of acceleration. I'm so worried about their mana for this fight. Like if they were having mana problems in the last boss.
Yeah, but this boss doesn't move nearly as much.
Yeah, that's probably...
He's dead.
No, what happened? Oh, the stones. The stones. Well,
a little bit too much face tanking.
Wynax has done it. They're in it. Wynax is in it, and they've done it. That means Lysera has to catch up, and Wynax has to suffer a death in the next zone. Then, I mean, certainly could happen if you're dying twice to Benedictus with less than 600 health. Certainly, certainly, Tavakai is going to be a tough fight for Wynax.
That's going to be hard.
They're shaking out the nerves here with some 360 spins. Does not pick up
590 HP on the Wynax Ranger. Compare it to the 856.
It's crazy
for Lysera. It's still not enough to survive Benedictus, but that is a massive difference. Wynax will... I think Lysera can afford to die a couple more times, because I don't know if Wynax is going to be able to finish this Tavakai fight, guys. We're going to be here for a while.
Hopefully off that 850 health, they don't die in Tavakai, and we get a very close finish between them and Wynax. I'm going to have a look at Lysera's gear, because I'm very curious how a Ranger is getting quite that much health. It's like more than the Warriors. Let's have a look.
That is crazy, yeah.
You weren't lost. Yeah, real. Thanks, chat, for reliving some memories with me there. I have a pretty decent cultist bow. They really want like high lightning damage roll. Usually they're looking for like a cultist or what's the other one? There's the cultist or zealot bow, and trying to get like a high lightning damage roll on that, and then crafting from there whatever else they can. It looks like they've had to settle for like a physical cold damage one. Not really as ideal, but it does have attack speed and post skills, so you're like reasonably happy there. But not a lot of damage on the rest of the gear. And the quiver can be a big thing to make up some damage there, and it's not bad, but also missing some elementals. And not like fully optimal here, I don't think. Like pretty good though. Pretty good, right? But
I think so.
Maybe just not quite good enough to not suffer those penalties. Okay.
Arco might just be able to finish before Relicario on the Druid. I think Relicario is mostly battling himself rather than Tavakai at this stage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's happening. But we're seeing the same thing, the Bone Storm. So the Bone Storm strategy here for the build-up of the stun to start the fights, to get those power charges so that you can just one-shot them with the Oil Barrage is happening. Big blocks there, but ooh, he's in a bad position and eats Tavakai Slam. Tavakai like leading the slam there, like with the excellent aim. That potion, that flask heal is so slow. He gets it, he gets it, he's got his power charges. Here's the big barrage.
It doesn't go.
What, he's doing Bone Storm barrages. He's not doing an oil barrage. He's doing Bone Storm barrages. Okay. All right. He's got empowered Bone Storm instead. Yeah. All right.
Oh, the damage from Lysera.
It was good.
Wow. Lysera instantly killed Benedictus. Yes. Let's go.
There you go. Look, honestly, as much as they suffered on that last boss on Torvian, if that's anything to go by, Tavakai might actually be pretty good. You might be able to blast Tavakai with those lightning rods, because Tavakai phase 3 especially, big target. Relicario, please, mate, not again. I can't handle it. It hurts.
He's doing okay so far. Manages to stabilize the fight. There's a lot of explosion. He's trying to clear them out just to give himself a little bit more space here.
Good. Being safe.
He goes for the pounds. The pops are big. He manages to stay alive as he eats a bunch of those crystal explosions. The beam is down. Here comes the combo attack. Relicario keeping his distance, making sure that he doesn't get hit by any of those melee attacks.
Also,
he pre-bots.
Power charge. Oh. Yes. No. Oh, he missed some of it. He's got it though. He's got it, but he's the slam. It's not quite. Oh yes, look at him go. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, you can feel that he almost goes down at the end there, but it would still count. Mate. You can feel the relief, the excitement. Good job, mate. Oh, I love to see that emotion. So good.
You should have done this the first time, though.
Gets it over the line. You gotta. Oh, it feels. I love to see it. He had such a hard fought ending there. Oh, good on you. And like you said, he's battling himself, but that is ultimately very true, right? That's a big part of what racing's about, is like getting over your own hurdles, your mental blocks.
Yes, because this is the winner mindset, right? We see so many of these quote-unquote top players quit when they can't get rank 1 or whatever. Like, no, Relicario stays in, he battles through, and this is a sign of a player who will continue to improve.
Yeah.
And with that, I think he can really learn a lot from many of these races as Wynax drops low from just a singular cleave attack. It's still a close race between Wynax and Lysera.
Interestingly, I do think generated the charges, but they didn't use the slash for the bonus lightning damage for some reason. I don't know. I
do think that it's still kind of Lysera's race to lose. Sure, Lysera still has to get through 2 zones and an entire phase to catch up to Wynax.
Interesting call.
Man, 620 HP for Wynax. Phase 2 beginning now.
Yeah,
this phase it's manageable. Third phase. I don't know. He's dead.
And look, oh no. Gets stomped on and hit by a little bit of that rain as well at the same time to finish him off.
This is what I'm saying. I think Lysera is still ahead.
I'm thinking like the odds are definitely tilted in favor of him dying each time here. Like 80% chance of death, 20% chance of making it through something maybe. So that I get your call on Lysera. Controversial maybe, but Lysera, if they can get there, will ultimately, I think I'm calling it for a very smooth, extremely fast Tavakai kill.
Potentially, because I mean that's the thing, right?
Down, just giga damage, right? Like it's gonna be huge.
There is no build that's more volatile than the lightning rod. If the boss stays still, if you're able to deliver that massive damage, you're chilling. Crimson is laughing as he dies to phase 1 Tavakai. But yeah, if you can deliver the damage with the lightning rods, we saw it on Benedictus, you kill any boss instantly. And the thing is too, that Tavakai's got a much larger hitbox in the 2nd and 3rd phase than something like Benedictus. So those lightning rods will be extra effective. He doesn't move nearly as much as a lot of the other bosses as well. So if Lysera can do it here, it won't just be off of the back of the amount of huge damage that he's got, but also off the fact that he's got 850 freaking 6 HP. That is so much health that it will just allow you to face tank many more attacks and just let you have a lot more, make a lot more mistakes, right? And really, it's neck and neck now when you look at it too. Obviously, it's kind of hard to judge how much damage Wynax is putting out. I mean, it's hard for both of these ranges, but it should be about 50 seconds until Lysera reaches Tavakai, so they're going to be beginning their fight at just about the same time. But still, I gotta say, Lysera, I think
This was build like takes me
Might
back.
do
This
it.
reminds me of like the olden days of Path of Exile 1, like tanky lightning arrow bow ranger. That's what it feels like here. I'm seeing like 45% armor with elemental damage reduction against hits for the armor as well.
Ziggy,
Some,
wave
like,
back.
very chunky life rolls.
Crimson is
What's
waving
that?
to us. He had a whole ass command
Oh,
on his
Crimson.
thing. Why didn't you
Hi,
wave
Crimson.
back? I was waving
Oh, I'm sorry.
furiously.
I mean, no one can see us.
That's the
You
point.
remember, you do recall no one can see us. All right. Lysera here. Lysera stacking up all of the lightning rods. Just don't burn all of that mana though, you know, like maybe just save some mana for later. Here we go.
Nah,
Maybe they
we're
won't
good.
need it, right? Here we go. There's all the
Huge
stacks,
damage.
There's the lightning arrows. Tavakai needs to get back on those lightning rods though. He's still got another round of lightning arrows to go. He's going to have to stack up a second set. The electrocute gets him a chance to get those lightning rods down.
I don't think
he
you can afford to full screen here. I don't think so, because Wynax is back in now, begins his fight, and how much damage is he going to be able to put out? It should be a little more consistent, but both players are struggling with mana. Mobility on the boss is something difficult to deal with in this early phase. Nice stun from Wynax. Gets the Rend strategy, so he's fully aware of it, but eats a massive slam.
Lysera's chance. Again,
Lysera would have lived through this.
Just letting him down. Yeah, he would. That would. Yep.
We've seen players get hit by this attack, and it
does.
does about 700 HP. So Lysera would have lived through this, and this is the difference in the approach
No,
between these two players.
Damage.
Holy
my god!
frick!
Exactly like I was saying, just absolutely night and day compared to the Torvian kill earlier. Torvian, he's a little annoying jerk. Sit still. But this guy, he's a gigantic fleshy meat bag just waiting to get lightning rodded for maximum damage. And one lightning rod rotation, and I think we might see that again in third phase here. Here we go. We don't have many mana flasks, so if he does an early leap slam out of the way, that could be a problem. But you see Lysera is basically standing on the lightning rods, anticipating just that very problem, and that's very wise here. Here we go. Here comes all the pre-stack. Can't miss a beat on this here. Does not want to get killed by a slam. Eats that. Come on, here we go. First couple preps. Oh, he's forced out of the way. That's really bad. That's really bad. He's not going to get a chance. The boss might move. He's not. The other SHAKEUPS goes down. Come on, can you get it? Can you get it? The lightning rods do decay. He can't get it in one cycle of lightning rods. This makes this a much harder fight for Lysera right now. He's eating so much damage. The life flask is going low. Only one mana flask charge left as well. But the electrocute does go down, and the lightning rods are in place. Right there for the finish for Lysera, the Ranger taking down on Bow Ranger, showing up grenades. You love to see it. What an effort from them. Mate, so good.
That'll do it.
So good.
That's our final class.
That will indeed do it. That will indeed do it. We can finish up with our Sork and Crimson Cast kills here, but that does take the last class, I believe, with Lysera securing the range of victory there.
And interesting, right? Because Monk finishes ahead of Ranger. So super impressive from our Monk players this week around. For sure.
Yeah. A big set of changes there. Crimson is in good spirits. He's feeling good about this one.
Oh, our sorcerer's dice.
Smooth final phase. Oh no. Aradia was a new name, a new face to crop up today, which is very cool to see. We've seen a couple new people poke their heads into the cast this time. Crimson just jamming out. He's feeling good. That's good. Good mindset here as he goes. We can full screen Crimson for the finish here then, as the other ones are all dead, all finished. Let's finish off on Crimson here for the final one. Whoa, zoom in, dramatic zoom in the corner there. You guys got it. Good job, production. Here we go, third phase with the grenades on the Merc for Crimson. Putting all that knowledge to good use. Now, with a lot of extra practice behind him as well, performing better and better each time we see him. And, hey, that is a very, very clean, comfortable Tavakai phase 3 here. Gets an extra Rory and maintains that rage and gets the kill. Look at him go. He's happy. He's having the time of his life. Fantastic. That closes us out for Race 3, Season 4. Last of the Druids.
I didn't really realize how many rivalries we had between 2 or even sometimes 3 players for like a particular class.
Cool.
It really was cool to see it develop, especially with Reese's making the switch over to Monk and then claiming it in the end. And you gotta say, you know, I wish next season we see a little bit less grenade ment, you know, as it did end up. I don't think it was necessarily the best strategy for a lot of these races, for a lot of these classes. but it was something that I think a lot of players were familiar with, considering how many people switched over from Mercenary when they realized they couldn't be competitive with people like Guy That Dies or Whole New Society. And they kind of like pushed it towards these less popular classes, and it still was just super consistent. It was something they were familiar with, and it worked out for many of our players here. So hopefully next season, some less grenade men, but at the same time, you know, I love watching speedrunning. It's always so cool to have these players just maximize the potential of how quickly you can get through the campaign. And yeah, turns out grenades are pretty good for that. Although druids, you know, druid warrior, there's still even witch, right? Witch can also do just so much. Obviously, with this finish, it wasn't quite the same as it was in the first and the second race, but in the third race, still, I think the Infernalist still highlights that witch has a lot of power that a lot of our players can use for future runs, as we will still be having more races coming up.
Yeah, we saw such a rough version of witches in earlier seasons, and then this season I feel like it really started to get figured out, and actually like the mercenaries are starting to sweat, the warriors are starting to sweat. It was cool to see some other warrior competition this time. Like you said, there was like at least two-way races between several of the different classes, and a very cool story between Whole New Society and Guy That Dies there as well. Big season with a lot of interesting new developments, and makes me very excited for next season, not only because who knows what new skills and things might be in for to mess things up, but also quite likely whatever the next races are something to do with ExileCon qualifying. That seems likely based on the timelines to me, and that is going to be everything, right? Like the previous ExileCon races were just such a huge deal, and such a big motivating thing for many people. It's like, if I can win the qualifiers, I get to go to ExileCon, and they wouldn't be able to otherwise, right? Like it's their ticket to ExileCon, quite literally.
It's everything.
Fantastic stuff, and I can't wait to see that. And if it, in a way, this season felt like a real like kind of experimenting, proving ground for getting set up and ready for that. So
and I gotta say,
their best.
It's good to be wrong sometimes, you know, because I was really adamant about, hey, these races should probably be hardcore, and then it was in the end it was GG's decision to keep them softcore, but with the big penalty. And I gotta say, the 2.5-minute penalty worked out really well, and I think we had like everybody die every single time, so we would have had like 3 people finish a race. Tavakai is just no pushover. A lot of more people this race, especially dying on Benedictus, still made for a pretty exciting season.
Yeah, I get your POV on that. Like in the past, in Path of Exile 1, we had hardcore races and they were really thrilling. But I think in this case here, it is like this is like that 2.5-minute death penalty is brutal and is something to consider in your strategy. But you can get comeback stories, and people are being more experimental, I think, and being more risk, like they're taking more risks because of it. So it's cool to see how that plays out. But as always, you know, give your feedback to us, the other racers, get involved in the racing discords. If you're interested in it, you want to share knowledge or learn some things just for yourself. The people are very, you know, sharing lots of knowledge in there and eager to help more and more people. Like, they want competition because it makes them better and it makes the whole thing more exciting, both to watch and be part of. Just like Angormus, he's like, I can't play this week. Here's everything I can tell you to make you guys, you know, do
very naughty
so,
by Guy That Dies, you know, not sharing the Rend strategy. Maybe it was on the other competitors.
We did see someone else using it though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, we saw someone else using it.
So maybe some lack of research there.
Yes, I mean, that it makes it extra exciting when they do just keep a little thing for themselves, which we might see more of that moving forward. But thanks to ZIGGYD for putting on the races. I love it. Thanks to the race community for all of their effort in feeding us the casters information. Especially shout out to Crimson and all of the top racers who like send me messages and stuff telling me about their strategies. Very cool to see. And I have been ZIGGYD, joined by RaizQT once again. And thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you for the next races. Bye bye.